Caribbean, African and Portuguese communities. So the food stalls should be kind of reflective of that, the food options, and just embracing all the community as best as you can.
Well, that is phenomenal. So we looked at that mission statement, you want to accelerate change. We looked at supporting diverse talent and grassroots to the elite, building grassroots programs, creating an elite academy, and actually including the development of coaching to bring coaching into the game. We talked about the addition of role models, the financial support that can be given to aspirant young Black and African Caribbean players. So and indeed we talked a little bit about working with the Cricket Supporters Association. So as you effect change from within the game, from the playing and participation side, they're looking at the supporters side, and effectively you're pushing in the same direction.
Right, well, we are back after tea on day 3 of the second test between India and England at Chennai, and I'm at Fred Titmus. I'm joined by Nestle Boy.
Hello.
And the Bear. No, not and the Bear.
Jack.
And Jack. Hello, Jack.
Easy mistake to make.
I don't think we've met online before, so hello.
Yeah, pleased to meet you.
So England just need to knock off these last couple of wickets before hitting about 450 odd to win the game and take a 2-0 lead in the series. It's all looking bright and rosy for the men from Albion. Who's going to be facing straight after tea? I believe it is the right-handed bat of Ashwin, as he plays the first ball from Moeen Ali square on the leg side and looks like declines the single. So let's jingle up some of the participants.
Faced up against the spin, try to cover drive, and there they go again. I'm out LB to Ashwin.
Well, a large gap, of which there are many, is found on the offside, and they do come back for 2. We're into that slightly tedious phase where they try and give a single which the batsman doesn't want to take, and they try and take 2 and whatever. Anyway, the match situation is that India are leading by 418 runs, which I think everybody and his wife believes is far too much for England to get in the 4th innings, but we never know. That's why we watch live cricket. And Moeen, who has... Well, interesting to see what people think about his return to this team as Ashwin faces up to him, and he comes down the wicket, and Stokes, who's been lauded to the skies as the greatest wicketkeeper of all time, misses another stumping. It wasn't all that easy. Ashwin came down the wicket and he had a mow. It was outside the off stump. He should have been able to see it all the way, but it skidded through somewhat, and it hit him on the knee. He did a bit of a butler there, and he would have been out by about 2 yards had he taken the ball cleanly. He didn't. He lost his footing, and another chance goes down.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Folkes' defence there, maybe kept a slightly low.
As this one is a fuller ball which is prodded back to the bowler. It did, but as I say, even though he's bowling round the wicket, he should have been able to see it all the way, and it wasn't all that difficult to be fair. I don't know whether he lost his footing before he missed the stumping or afterwards. Oh no, there was a bit of an edge. That's what made it keep low. So it was a drop and a stumping missed. So 2 negative marks there against Folkes, who was standing up to Broad earlier. I'm not entirely sure why. As Moeen, who has 4 for 73 of 27.4 overs.
At the time, we thought it was because the Indian batters were batting quite a way out of their crease earlier in the match.
Yeah, Kohli does tend to, but then he carried on doing it through Ashwin. And hasn't seen much point to it other than making a point. And down the wicket comes Ashwin again, and he's lifted this high and deep into the onside. It actually falls just between two fielders, one running back from mid-on and one coming in from deep mid-wicket. It was only about a couple of yards away from them, but that's a single to Ashwin. He's left Ishant with 1 ball to face of this over. 224 for 8.
A little bit of a lob wedge.
Distinct aggression. I thought he'd got quite a lot of that actually, but it didn't go very far at all. As Leach was running back from mid-on, And Ashwin examines the bottom of his bat, looking for somebody to blame for the reason that wasn't 10 rows deep into the crowd. So Ishant will face one ball from Moeen. There's one ball remaining in this over, and the field comes in very close. We've got 4 men around the back, leg slip, silly point and short leg as this ball keeps a little bit low, but Ishant stays on the back foot, digs it out into the ground. The end of the 74th over, 224 for 8. Nestlers, do we have anyone joining us on social media?
Well, I saw a tweet earlier from an Ashley Gray, cricket quote of the week from ex-Interstar Christian Vieri. I'm on YouTube a lot watching cricket. My wife says, "What are you watching?" What is this? 3 hours a day watching games from 84 and 86, and she's going, "What's wrong with you? Why aren't you normal?"
Christian Vieri half Australian or something?
He grew up there.
I think he grew up there, didn't he? Yeah.
Right. Well,
But,
why wouldn't he? Who wouldn't?
Yeah. Well, it's lockdown. I mean, I've spent a ridiculous amount of time watching stuff on YouTube. A lot of
Yeah, I
watching.
think I've completed YouTube now.
I'm watching videos of people doing guided tours around various cities, New York specifically, which can't stop watching.
Did you see Robelinda 2 went past 900 million views this week, and he worked out. So it's completely unmonetized. He doesn't own the rights. But he worked out how much money he'd have earned if it was. Would you like to guess?
Who was it? What is it?
So Robelinda 2
cricket videos.
Yeah, if you haven't seen, he has a collection of
yes,
loads
yes,
of
yes.
Australian games from the 80s and 90s.
No, go on. How much?
20 million Aussie dollars.
Fuck.
That's about 40,000 quid. As the man with the headband is going to come in over the wicket to Ashwin, and again folks is standing up, and it's a full ball which is driven up to mid on for no run. Should we jingle up Mr. Broad?
Sweep the leg, Brody. Got the best headband around. Something has got to keep her down. Got the best headband around. Your ego ain't gonna be kept down. Got the best headband around. Even though your hair is thinning now.
It's Broad with a very dramatic haircut. Lucky him, comes in and it's full outside the off stump and driven into the offside towards cover. Ashwin has no interest in taking the single.
Why can't he monetize? Is it because he doesn't own the rights to those videos that he's posting?
Basically, yes.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, this guy. There's a guy who I watch does New York mostly. He's down in Miami at the moment, but he earns a living from wandering around just talking with a camera.
Right, well, that's his content.
It's his content. Yeah, I know, but I'm saying that's his job. He makes a living out of it. You know.
It's not shoe leather. As Broad comes in and bowls full ball, Ashwin defends.
It's.
I mean, there is an argument, I reckon, that Robelinda 2's cricket contribution to cricket through his online archive is probably worth something to the game, and he may feel a little bit hard done by that. Nobody has. He's got absolutely no financial reward out of all that hard work.
Yeah, it does seem a bit harsh.
Yeah, you know, property rights are a thing. As the lead now 419 as Ashwin faces up to Broad again, just one slip in place, and he's lifted this high into the air. How high has it gone? Well, high enough and deep enough to beat the man running back from mid-off and over the boundary for 4 runs. Well, Ashwin obviously doesn't think much of Ishant Sharma and Suraj, the man to come, because he's thinking, there's a test century on here, and I'm going to have to do it pretty quickly, because otherwise these two are going to get out. So, you know, and the game situation doesn't make any difference one way or the other if he did get out, so there's no reason why he shouldn't open up.
Yeah, might as well enjoy himself.
75 now.
Keeping us sane, anyway.
Well, we've got the twin emotions of England cricket fans over the last couple of tests. From everything is fantastic to everything is lousy. The situation is probably somewhere in the middle. I think 2 weeks ago, if you would have said England would be 1-1 going into the third test, I think everybody would have taken that as Broad or England fans would have, as this is chipped over the leg side, quite sweetly timed. One bounce out to deep mid wicket. This time Ashwin, well, he takes a single because it's the 5th ball of the over, just leaving one for Ishant.
Ishant Sharma's gonna get you, gonna look you right in the face. Better get yourself together, darling. Learn how to play pace. How in the world you gonna see netting against trundlers like me? Who in the hell do you think you are? A superstar? Well, right you are.
One of the better John Lennon solo singles. There weren't that many of them. That was Instant Karma stroke Ishant Sharma. He's facing up to the last ball of the over from Broad. They're spending a lot of time setting the field, and Ishant's found somebody moving behind the bowler's arm. A bit of pressure on the bowler sometimes when you get one ball at the tail ender. Let's see what Broad comes up with. It's down the leg side and it's clipped down to long leg. I don't think they're going to take the single. They do take the single. So has Ishant kept the strike? Or yes, he has. So he's thwarted Ashwin's plan. He's quite happy to get off the mark. Ashwin wasn't going to deny him that. Let's run through the tweets.
Mog says, quoting you, Fred, property rights are a thing. It's a precept that will probably essentially fuck 90% of the jingles on here.
No, there's a fair use. What's the word?
Law?
Not on
You can
fucking
use the fair
YouTube,
use
there
in
isn't,
copyright.
Fred. They keep pinging us. Exactly that. We use lots of jingles that are pastiches of songs, and we should be able to get fair right and monetise our feed, but we can't because the fuckers keep picking it up and saying it's someone else's. Just a grumble from the green room.
Expropriate old highlights along with the means of production, I say, says Pirate Badshaw.
Yes, well, you know what you can do, can't you? Jack, when are England going to win this game? Tomorrow?
Sometime on the morning, day 5, I reckon.
Right.
I don't see them get 425 in a day tomorrow. And with
outfield
this much
looks
time in the
pretty
game, they might as well draw it out.
Moeen bowls to Ishant, who leans forward to a very full ball, technically a half volley, and blocks it into the ground.
I mean, we've seen how easy it is to bat now, haven't we, from Ashwin here? So, what will be the problem?
Yeah, I haven't seen all that much of this innings, so I kept out. I haven't seen all that much of this test, to be fair, so I've kept out of the wicket debate. I haven't kept out of the standard of umpiring debate, which is not really a debate. It's been absolutely appalling. And people who try and defend it are, well, they're wrong. As Moeen comes in and bowls, and down the wicket comes Ishant, and he lifts this into the leg side. Did he time it well? He timed it well enough. It's gone out to deep mid wicket for 4 runs.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Anything you can do, Ravi Ashwin, says Ishant, I can do better, or at least just as well.
At
He
what
used his
point
feet
does
well.
deep mid wicket become cow corner?
They are the same. They are one and the same.
There's not an inch in it or anything.
Yeah, there is some leeway to how you describe fielding positions.
I like cow.
Yep, preferably medium rare on a grill.
I think there should be cows on the field. You know.
Well, I played a couple of places where there are cows at cow corner. This time a big sweep attempted by Ishant. Misses the ball, hits him on the pad. It was outside the line of the off stump. And guess what? A shot was played. I think everyone can agree there. So no point in appealing.
I think so.
Doesn't look like Ishant's going to die wandering.
He's not, and Ashwin's probably thinking, just hang around for a bit, you know, I'm in the 70s. But Ishant looks to be playing his shots. Oh, he goes right back on his stumps and gets an inside edge on this. Had he not, he would have been the plumbest of plumb LBWs. But they do take 2 runs. So he's on 7th, and the lead now 431. The longer they keep batting, actually, does help in some regards, because the shorter the session that England have to bat tonight, the worse it is for them. I know you're looking at very marginal gains for the bowling team, but marginal gains are good. If England have a chance to bat for an hour and a half and they do somehow come through unscathed, that is a good session. But if they only have to bat for 40 minutes, as this one, now Mo's coming round the wicket to Ishant, and he defends the ball on leg stump.
Yeah, exactly. The time factor here means the declarations probably shouldn't even be on the table.
No, not with 2 days left.
So I can keep batting. I mean, it's a bit boring for us, and probably most of the players as well. But that's Test cricket.
It's more boring for the bowling team, or it's more edgy for the bowling team. As back goes Ishant, the ball that keeps low outside his off stump and just prods it into the ground. And that's the end of the over. Let's have some tweets.
Knuckles tweeted in, he said, "We had Rob, whose contribution to the game has been immense, on the Cricket Gorilla podcast last year. He steadfastly refuses to be bitter about the money, but what he does get angry about is boards trying to bully him into taking down content they aren't using." Yeah, I could understand that. Martin Lawrence wants to know, what are
Why should he be
waiting?
bitter about the money? It's not his.
Well, I suppose it's what you could have.
If you stole it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those. isn't it?
Other sports take a different angle on this. I know most of the American sports let YouTube creators or content creators use footage for free if if that's their bag. With the idea being it grows the game.
Well, yes. But again, that's a decision for the owners of the material to make. Leach is going to be back in the attack. Let's run through a couple more tweets. Well, oh no, Nestor is off for a small break, so we won't have a couple more tweets. Leach, who is back into the attack from the Anna Pavilion end. Did we ever find out who Anna was? Or is it a Mr. Anna, or is it a
I think
Mrs. Anna?
we've said it's Anna Forsyth.
Oh, that's probably it, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a good idea, actually. We should sponsor the names of the ends at grounds unofficially, that we're going to call them. We should sell that off, sell those rights.
Surely we don't have the rights to the end.
No, we can call it whatever we like. Yes, so Leach, who has 3 for 74 off a certain number of overs, I think that says 28, not entirely clear. Yes, it does. And he's replacing Broad from the Anna Pavilion end, and he'll be bowling to Ravi Ashwin. Slow left arm. I was having a discussion about Leach with a friend of mine yesterday. It's a shorter ball and it's lifted over the leg side and just one bounce before it gets to the mid-wicket fielder, and they do take the single, so Ashwin's decided he can trust Ishant. If you look at video footage of Leach from before he was told that his action was no good and had to remodel it, he had much more loop, he had much more drift. Nowadays I get the feeling, it just occurred to me why I don't rate him as a spin bowler, or don't rate him very, very highly, is that he beats people off the pitch with turn and with not turn, but he never beats people in the air.
I think it's an interesting one. That probably fits with the sort of numbers on Leach. He is a very good bowler to right-handers and a fourth innings bowler. His average, I think, to right-handers is 21 or something like that, and bowling in the fourth innings of matches similarly depressed, which would suggest that when he gets a little bit of help from the pitch, he does cause problems.
Well, all spinners, prefer to have help from the pitch.
His is incredibly extravagant, though. I mean, it's like 100 to 220 or something like that, depending on the innings he's bowling in.
2 slips and a short leg in as Leach bowls to Ishant, who's got a big stride forward. He's a tall man and blocks this with bat and pad very close together. So he's beating people off the pitch, and he's beating good batsmen as well. But that's only one part of the great spinner's armoury. If you can beat people in the air, you're much better off. As Ishant tries to play this in the leg side, gets a leading edge, it goes along the ground to point, no runs.
I mean, my view is that he's sort of a pretty good bowler who does some things exceptionally well and can't really do some other things.
And certainly when the pitch is helping, and this is a mode sweep that's gone up in the air. Is it going to fall into the hands of the fielder at backward square leg? It does, which is Stuart Broad. Ishant has gone aiming a big mo from a ball outside the off stump, tried to get it into the leg side against the turn, and the 9th wicket has fallen.
I won't look back, 'cause by the time that I do, you'll be gone.
premeditated hoik, actually. It wasn't Broad.
Phone?
Got that wrong. So Leach has got a wicket, his 4th wicket of the innings, and England are very close to having to think about padding up. Ollie Stone it was who took the catch. They do look a little bit similar, Stone and Broad. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking to it. Nestlers, let's run through all the tweets.
Neil Franklin said, needs a world record for England to win now. India have to account for run inflation, though, I suppose. Mogg says, we all know the ICC and its overlords have no great interest in growing the game. And he also says, Fred, we know that's a lie. You don't have any friends. Well, you got us, Fred.
Acquaintances. You're out my acquaintances.
Are we acquaintances? Colleagues, maybe?
Speak for yourself, Nestlers.
That's true. I don't think I've ever met Jack. Met Bear once or twice.
I've met, obviously, many times, not Fred in the flesh.
I heard yesterday there was some argument about whether we were professional broadcasters or not. Well, the Bear and I certainly are. Aren't we, Bear? Is he there? Yeah, he's got the thumbs up.
He'll start telling us about who he had in his cab or his car.
And we had the back of his car. Yeah. Well, that's true. He's a professional driver more than a professional broadcaster. Anyway, they did cross while the ball was in the air, and Ashwin is on to strike.
That's going to be his autobiography title. I was Gary Sober's chauffeur.
Clive Lloyd, actually, not Gary Sober.
Sorry, Clive Lloyd.
It was Ali Che who was all over Gary Sobers in Barbados. 2:37 for 9 as Leach is round the wicket to Ashwin, and he goes back and he tries to pull a ball which wasn't all that short, but he's got it well to a wideish mid-on or cow corner, you might say, Nestlers, for 4 runs.
Cow corner.
He's doing everything he can to wrestle this Man of the Match award away from Rohit Sharma, isn't he, Ashwin?
Well, he's got another opportunity to
1, 2, 3, 4
to add to his stats in this game. You never know, he might go for 0 for 180 in the 4th innings. And we'll be saying that Dom Sibley's 200 won the match, as this is flicked down to 3rd man. That's a very good shot, actually. It was a sort of a late cut stroke flick. Moeen does get to it running back from backward point. They take 2 runs. Ashwin into the 80s now. But he hasn't kept... Has he kept the strike? Oh, he only took 1 run.
Yeah.
So 82 to Ashwin. And he's kept the strike. 242 for 9.
What's his highest test score?
Over 100. He's got 300 all against West Indies.
Yeah, he's a good batsman, actually. He's a very good number 8, as doubtless Gary will tell you when he comes on.
I think he's probably slightly on the decline as a batter. I mean, obviously on 82, that sounds like a ridiculous thing to say. But over the last 4 years, he hasn't been as good as the first 2/3 or half of his career. I think we're seeing why he does average 30 today, though. Rolling back the years, as it were.
Yeah, these are not pressure runs under any stretch of the imagination. If ever test runs can be easy, I'm not saying they are easy because the wicket is difficult and the bowling is competent, but the match situation means that there's no pressure on him at all. He's going to face up to Moeen Ali, who's round the wicket to him, as he ought to be, and he defends the ball off stump.
I think we're at a rare moment where both of England's spinners had exactly the same figures. 4 for 80 off 29 overs.
That's top quality work there. Thank you, Andy Zaltzman. As Moeen's in again, Ashwin goes back and just blocks into the offside. There's no one close to cover, so Moeen has to trudge along and get it himself. So I'm probably glad of the exercise after having been cooped up for most of the last 3 months. Ashwin, 82. Well, nobody gets to 82 without thinking of 100, I'm told. And with only 1 wicket to fall, and Siraj, who I believe is a genuine number 11, I think Ashwin's going to be thinking strategically as he plays the next ball back to Moeen. No run.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting. One of the probably few interesting things I have to see in this innings how he'll go about trying to get these 18 runs.
Moan bowls again, and Ashwin tries to, sweep it from well outside the off stump. Not a particularly good percentage shot, and he doesn't get any runs from it. But he got an under edge which bounced very close to his foot, and actually bounced 3 times before it got to the wicketkeeper. Fielders come in now, and we've got a bit of an in-out field as they try and protect the single and also the boundaries.
Yeah, not quite on the one. It's a bit interesting.
Yeah, certainly not a bit on. This is swept high into the air, out to deep square leg. Is there a man there? There is, but he can't take the catch, and he doesn't know where the ball is, and it's going to be 4 runs.
He's lost it.
Yeah, we had a humorous. Well, I mean,
There it
how
is.
to describe it?
Did it get to him on the full?
I think it looked like the half volley to me, and then he sort of palmed it round the post, lost the ball, did a little spin, and then the double teapot.
It was up in the air for quite a while. He had a lot of ground to make, and he dived. No, he actually got his hand
in the
on
face?
it. No, I think he pushed his hands out as it bounced and tried to parry it. That was actually a very good piece of work, as Moeen comes in again, and the reverse sweep from Ashwin, or the attempted reverse sweep, goes somehow to mid-off, and he doesn't get a single. The end of the over, Ashwin finishes that over on 86, 246 for 9. Siraj will be facing.
Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast tells us it's pronounced the Unha Pavilion end, but we prefer the Anna Forsyth Pavilion end. And Leia says it looks like the only one that can rob Ashwin of his well-deserved ton is Siraj.
We're going to have a change after this over. Gary, Hendo and Bear will be taking you through the next half an hour. The match summary. England are deep in the shit. I think that's the official match summary. Needing at least 442 to win this game. With power to add, as Leach will be bowling to Siraj, who's taking a lot of time fiddling with his gloves. He does have a sponsor on his bat. One of the top order batsmen doesn't. But
Gil.
number 11 does. Funny that.
Yeah, I wonder
Leach will.
when he'll get stickers put all over it and lots of money.
We should just send him some gorilla stickers. He's got some somewhere. As Leach round the wicket to him, and he tries to. That turns and bounces from middle and leg stump and goes past the outside edge. I don't think a great batsman in good form would have been able to get an edge on that.
Yeah, it's exploded out the pitch. Another one that's kicked a load of dirt up.
It won't bother Siraj though, as Leach is in again, and this was the one that doesn't turn, which he spots, goes back into his crease and plays back down the wicket.
India are kind of unusual. I mean, it's more of a point of interest than anything. They are kind of unusual in that they do have 3 genuine number 11s.
As again he goes back into his crease and defends this. Yeah, and that perhaps cost them a little bit in the last Test match. I know you look at the overall score, but as Gary will point out, the value of number 11s is not always, late order batsmen, not always the runs they make, but if they can stay with batsmen higher up and allow them to score more runs, then
I'm not sure that's really the skill set of Siraj, Kuldeep or Ishant either, to be honest.
it isn't. But I mean, look at Jack Leach's 1 not out. It's one of the great Test innings, and he scored 1 run. So he just made sure he didn't get out, and was of inestimable value to his team. As the Bear needs to do some maintenance work, but he's disappeared for a moment. As again, there's some faffing over the field, helmets and all sorts, as a man is coming into. Silly, it off fits Ben Stokes under the helmet.
A little bit of an unusual one. Normally he's resident at first slip.
Yeah, he's going to find some new ways to get injured, Stokes. As Siraj faces up to Leach, who bowls, and it beats the outside edge of a proddy defensive shot into Folks' gloves. Again, some good turn there. I think England are going to find it very difficult when they come out to bat.
I think particularly with the harder ball, that's where the extra bounce has come from.
But if we're looking for glimmers of hope, as Leach Bolton again beats the outside edge, we're in an era of fourth innings chases that is unprecedented in the history of Test cricket. There have been an astonishing number of great chases in the last couple of years. We mentioned Stokes's. There was Sri Lanka's against South Africa as the last ball of the over is blocked back to the bowler. I'm going to say goodbye for the moment and leave you in the capable hands of whoever's coming in.
I believe that's me. Yes. Well, I didn't expect to be commentating ball by ball on India's batsmen. I expected it to be England's bowlers, but you have to give it to Cricketing View with his tweet, who said that the pitch doctors are so cunning here in Chennai that they've doctored the pitch to suit Ravi Ashwin's bowling and his batting. So well done to them.
Well, Hendo, we can just see about the top side, behind the part of your head, and a lot of your ceiling.
Oh, there's Hendo.
Is that better?
Much better.
Hello, Hendo. I haven't been on air with you since about 2016, from what I can make out.
I don't know. I'm sure we were arguing not that long ago.
You were yeah, you were arguing in the last
discussing.
10.
Round the wicket comes Moeen, and he crabs back, does Ashwin, now on 86. The Indians on 246 for 9. And do you still think it's unplayable?
I think it's very difficult when the ball is hard. I think that certainly India have showed a way to bat, which is getting right forward or getting right back. I mean, also, if you think back to the way Steve Smith played in Pune.
As Moeen, how that missed the stumps, I do not know. Moeen bowled a ball on a leg stump line. Ravi Ashwin got the reverse out, as he has done a couple of times. The ball bounced over the stumps, and Ben Folkes has gone from immaculate to a little bit scrappy, and he couldn't take the ball, and they went through for a bye. Oh, he got a little inside, little bottom edge, so I'm not going to complain about Ben Folkes in that instance.
I think England bowled really well this morning, but didn't really follow it up. After the first hour and a quarter, they started to drop a lot of 4 balls in, and I think that's what allowed India to come back into the game. Not that England were ever going to get back in the game. I mean, I think they were, they could pretty much have declared their innings closed last night. India still won this game.
Yeah, I think so too. I think when a pitch slows down, your kind of target area for a bowler goes from a sheet of A3 to a sheet of A5, and the pitch got so slow with the soft ball that it was kind of a handkerchief, and India were able to go forward or back and play the ball off the pitch, and they did do so, as Siraj does now. And England have got a new ball in 3 overs time. If they don't take it, I shall not be responsible for my
3 balls
Anglo-Saxon.
time. 3 balls time.
Yeah, 3 balls time, sorry. Yeah, England need to take this new ball, and they need to make it count. India have batted very, very well. But yes, you're absolutely right, Hendo. It's been difficult, but well short of impossible, as Ashwin, Kohli and others have proved. He goes back to Siraj. He's got sort of an umbrella field on the leg side, like we're in Melbourne in 1932-33.
Well, I think England are just desperate to stop Ashwin getting his 100, and that would be the final insult, really. He's made a great call for man of the match, hasn't he? Even though you look at Rohit Sharma in the first innings.
Oh, Rohit Sharma in the first innings. This ball is taken on the pad, and there's a half-hearted appeal, but it was going over the top, I feel, and Moeen is looking for that 5th wicket. I mean, that was an innings for the ages, setting up the match. It would be very, very hard to take a man of the match off Rohit after that.
Yeah, I mean, these second innings runs don't really count, do they?
Well, they do.
Well, they do and they don't.
They're a lot easier than first innings runs in these circumstances. He goes back to Siraj, and there is no run. 80 overs are up. India are 247 for 9. Their lead is 4,442,000.
I'll catch up on some tweets then while we wait to see whether England take the new ball and who they give it to if they do. Knuckles says, is this about the various ends and why they're called what they are? The boring true answer is that Anna is a term of respect in Tamil, sort of like calling someone your honorary elder brother or substitute father. The ends in Ahmedabad are the Adani Pavilion end and the GMDC end, both named after big business concerns in the city. Brong says, greetings from Dhaka. Dad Bish joke time. Oh well, here goes. After dinner, my wife asked if I could clear the table. I needed a running start, but I made it.
Terrible.
John Surtees says, Moen will score a match-winning 180 not out. And then he woke up. Jacob says, surely Ashwin should be batting at number 7. Well, on the basis of what he's done here, I think number 8 is very good. It's worked well for him. If England pick their probable best attack for the day-night test, Leach, Broad, Archer, Anderson, the tail-end batting will be a race to the bottom between both sides. That's more from Knackle. And then we see Hombre Nuevo, who's designed our wonderful new T-shirts, putting up the design of the Old Father Gorilla, which I think is one of the best. It's like Father Time, only in the shape of a gorilla. It's like an outline, a silhouette, if you like. So go along to the shop, the GorillaCricket.com shop, and buy lots and lots for all your friends.
Absolutely.
And yourself.
Have you got YouTube up, Hendo?
I haven't, no. I haven't.
I saw some YouTube comments.
Okay. I can share that with you.
Okay, that's cool. It's easy. It's up on
Before you do, Bear, we should report that it's new balls.
Oh yeah, we have a jingle for that, don't we? I'm sorry, I'm very tired today. I was falling asleep in my chair.
New balls, please.
And of course, whoever gets this wicket out of Leach and Mo gets a fiver.
And the bright and shiny cherry is propelled by Jack Leach to Ashwin, who treats it with respect, pushing it to extra cover. It's been about 5 years since Ashwin's made any serious runs, so it's a welcome return to form as far as he's concerned. But he's delivered number 8 perfectly. Oh, and there's the difference you were talking about, Hendo. That one really jumped at Ashwin, who goes down the track and examines exactly where that landed, and no doubt informs Don Sibley that that's where he'll be pitching the ball in about 20 minutes' time.
The other thing, of course, about Ashwin is he's never scored. He scored 4 Test hundreds, but never against anyone apart from the West Indies.
Leach is in, and Ashwin comes forward and just blocks that to extra cover again. Shouldn't England be attacking a bit more with the new ball?
Oh no, I mean, as you say, they've got gazillions of runs. They've got gazillions of runs. Does it really matter?
It doesn't really matter, but they've got a slip in there.
Where are the wickets going to come from?
This ball is blocked back down the ground by Ashwin, and he refuses to take an easy single, and there is no run. I just think if you get into this state of mind, if you're in a position where you're saying you can't really get number 8 out, it doesn't augur well for 2 more Test matches.
Well, no, I think they think that the chances the wicket has come, it's going to turn and bounce, catch glove, maybe go to slip. Maybe there should be a silly mid-off in.
There should definitely be a silly mid-off, and there should be a short leg or a short mid-wicket very close as well.
Well, he's going to swing as well, isn't he? So I mean, the chances are he's going to be caught out in the deep if he miscues one out there.
Well, one off the gloves, popping in front of him. As he goes back, does Ashwin, and he cuts, and a very weary-looking Moeen attempts to field that, but he just escorts it back to the deep point boundary, and Ashwin goes to 91.
I have to say, I think Moeen had actually fallen asleep at that point, and then someone shouted to him, "The ball is going past you." Just absolutely no reaction from him at backward point there.
Well, he's got the right to be tired. Nobody thinks it's easy being out there in Chennai in the heat and the humidity, being given an absolute pummeling by India's number 8. But yes, he did look somewhat distracted at that point.
What happens to your theory about the importance of a number 8 when he's not normally a number 8?
This ball is turned to
Stone,
backward square leg, and there is no run. Number 8 is a number 8. Whoever does that job has got the vital. Has got two. Whoever does that number in the order has got 2 vital jobs. The first one is to stay with the established batsman, and then to get on with it when the tail come in. And Ravichandran Ashwin, having had a bit of a talking to by Kohli after he played a little aggressively to his first sort of 10 deliveries, did stay with Kohli, and it was an excellent stand of, I think, 90 odd. And since then, he's got on with it with the tail. So Ashwin, I think he's probably batted 8 more than 7. But he's done a fine job here. It's a bit unfair when Jadeja's there as well, because India then have two sort of 7.5s in the order, and one or other of them is going to make 50 and do that job.
Well, it becomes Moen's chance to take the fifer. He's going to continue to bowl. Oxymoronica says, at least Ashwin should be shagged out from his batting efforts. Well, today anyway. Neil Franklin, on a similar theme, says, keep Ashwin out there, tire him out. I don't think it works like that. He'll have such adrenaline from having batted so well and got so many runs that he'll actually bowl better. So I don't think that's going to really work for him.
I think Rory Burns a bit of a bunny for him in this series as well.
Yeah. Siraj is on strike now, though. Ashwin on 91. England have got a leg slip, a silly forward point, and a short forward square. But somehow India managed to squeeze a single by dabbing it down there. I mean, England look very tired in the field here.
They do.
Huge applause for Siraj getting off the mark, but possibly also for getting Ashwin back on strike.
Right, I'm going to run through some tweets here. The Hairman says it's impressive for fourth place underdogs India to be holding their own against the world #1 team. Of course, we did go to #1, didn't we, after we won the last test? Stephen Cake says the discussion questioning Leach's calibre obviously helped to get the last wicket. The Hairman reckons that Leach looks like Bruno Fernandes. Who's Bruno Fernandes?
He's the Manchester United player. He's got a lot less hair, has to be said, just for a start.
Okay.
It's a little around the jawline, but that's all.
He also says that Ishant is famous for his blockathons, but that's over now, thank God.
It comes forward as Ashwin and punches it to mid-off, and there's a long single there, but they refuse it. I think that Jimmy Anderson looks like Everton's Michael Keane, but that's not a view shared by many, but I can see a look-alike in anything.
Okay.
Anurag Shillot says India #1, and he says a rather... I'm not going to read it out in full because it's rather disgusting. He says England are sort of like certain stains in a brothel. They're not very productive, he says.
Not very productive.
Oh, Ashwin goes high and handsome to cow corner. Is there anybody there? There is, but they're in the crowd.
We're a crowd catch. I haven't seen one of them for a while, but it's one of these.
Ashwin has 97 of 132 balls. He's been a bit lucky. He's been dropped twice, but you get your luck, and you often do get dropped on difficult pitches because chances come. But it's what you do with your luck that matters, and dear me, has Ashwin batted well in this innings.
There's a lot of people, some very strange names have suddenly appeared on on YouTube. There's the pianist penetrator and the phallic doctor.
You always need one of those for a game of cricket.
Well, England...
On each.
England certainly needs some fielding Viagra at the moment because they're very flat in the field, and they need this wicket. They don't need it in terms of the game. I think the game's gone. But they need it, I think, in terms of the morale here. When you get a stand like this, so often it brings a wicket or two once the openers get out there.
Absolutely.
They've been thinking a long time about the job that's in front of them. In the meantime, Ashwin has just hit the ball wherever he wants. Moeen round a wicket to Ashwin, who's on 97, and he pushes this to extra cover. Will they get the 3 they need? They're going to get 2, as Ollie Stone, who I think has had a good match, difficult circumstances, runs round. And Ashwin has 99. The crowd are on their feet.
Is that his wife?
There's clapping. It's all going on in Chennai.
Do you think that they might immediately declare to give themselves 10 minutes at England, or will they get 10 minutes? No, there's only 4 minutes now to go before the 10-minute rule comes in, isn't it? So is that right?
What do you mean?
What time is it?
It's only 9:46. This is only the first session after tea. First half hour after tea.
Yeah.
We're after tea. Oh my God!
God,
I've gone completely mad.
I wonder what you're talking about.
I thought it was coming up to tea. Oh God!
This is what you're tuning in for. This is the stuff.
Well, you know,
Well,
we've been here since 3:30.
I think last time I was getting left and right-handers mixed up, which sometimes it is hard to tell who's in the field under beards and shades and hats. But if you can't tell a left-hander from a right-hander when you're commentating on the ball by ball, there's something awry. But what we have now is we have a Ravichandran Ashwin on strike on 99. Over the wicket is coming Moeen, who's in danger of logging his own 100. He has 4 for 94 in his 32nd over. The crowd are on 10 to hooks. England have quite a few men saving 1. Moeen looking careworn. He looks like he's aged 5 years in this match. He's in. Ashwin comes down the track. There's a huge edge. It goes to where fly slip would have been, but I'm not going to blame England for not having a fly slip. It goes all the way to the third man boundary. That helmet is off. The bat's in the air. It's been, I think, 5 years since he's had that feeling. But well batted, Ravichandran Ashwin. You, sir, are a centurion.
1, 2, 3, 4. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
They'll declare now?
Well, I would have thought they would. I can't see how much more they would want. They maybe just want to demoralise England a little bit more, keep them out there for a bit longer. They figure they can do it tomorrow, so maybe they'll just have 40 minutes at them tonight if these two keep on batting.
Well,
but I imagine they won't, because at some point one of these is going to fall, I would think.
I would, if I was Kohli, I would get to one more than England gave India as a fourth innings chase and declare then. You've got to have a sense of occasion about these things. I can't remember how many England set India. There was no declaration. I know they were bowled out. But whatever India's notional target was, that's +1 is what England should set. There's an appeal there after a mighty swoosh from Ashwin. The ball is dribbling away to the boundary. England look very, very ragged here. There must have been an edge to it though, because it's been given as 4 runs. Moeen doesn't look very happy. He's now gone for 98, or is it 4 byes? I think
4 leg byes, I think.
4 leg byes, possibly.
4 leg byes.
I think we set them 455, didn't we?
Did we? Whatever it is, that would be the stylish way to set England 456. But it's entirely notional. This is the 5th century by Ravichandran Ashwin, and as you pointed out, Hendo, the previous 4 were all against the West Indies, and 2 were in home matches, 2 away, Antigua and St Lucia, and Kolkata and Mumbai. And in this match, he has 103 not out, and he has delivered exactly what his captain wanted.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary knock in many ways. England will look back and think they should have had him a couple of times, and they absolutely should have done.
Yeah, when he was dropped on 28.
28. I mean, you're absolutely right that England are looking ragged now, and that doesn't augur well for when they do finally take strike. If they had managed to clean up this innings in the first session or shortly after the first session, then England would feel a lot happier. They'd be a lot less tired. There'd be a lot less miles in their legs. And I think just the morale would be much better. They probably wouldn't achieve much, but they would feel happy. And now they're on a complete hiding to nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a criticism of England. Any side would look tired in these circumstances, but that's where it's really important for the opening batsmen to get right on their games the moment they go out there. So we've got a slip, we've got a short forward square, we've got silly point, and we've got Siraj slogging Jack Leach off the inside edge down to deep square leg, where Dan Lawrence does the fielding. He could have had a little bowl, I think, earlier.
Well, he did.
I know, but a little more longer. Of a bowl. Yes, but he didn't. India moved to 270 for 9. The lead is 4,465,000, and Siraj has got himself to 3. He's enjoying himself out there, Siraj, isn't he?
Well, he's got freedom now that Ashwin has got to his 100. He can just enjoy himself, and it's all bonus runs, isn't it? Really.
Give it a big heave ho.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't hurt any close fielders in the process.
Well, that's kind of my thinking. I'd be more inclined to have the close fielders for Ashwin and the fielders out for Siraj, but because he's just slogging everything now, isn't he? Really, but we'll see. As Leach is in round the wicket, and he doesn't slug this, he goes back and does a Kohli by playing the ball very late outside the off stump. The ball dribbles away to point, and as a number 11 always does, he says, "No run." They always enjoy speaking as a number 11. It's always nice to say "no run" or "wait." It slugs this, does Siraj. It was right in the slot. It's gone miles up in the air. It's got miles over Jack Leach's head, and it's one of these.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6.
He knows no fear, does he, Siraj? Absolutely no fear.
You tend not to when you lead 471.
Oh, exactly. And you're playing your first test in India, and you've had a great tour of Australia, and you only started playing proper cricket about 6 years ago.
Is he the guy whose father was tuk-tuk driver or
yes,
something?
rickshaw driver, yeah.
Yeah, it's a kind of rags to riches. He doesn't come from the same kind of background as Ravichandran Ashwin. I'm not going to comment on the caste system or whether it even holds these days, but Ravichandran Ashwin is certainly of the gilded end of Indian society. This ball jumps a little at Siraj, but Ollie Pope dives forward and eats a bit of dirt, as England have metaphorically and are now doing so literally.
Wait,
No catch.
You imagine when India come out to bowl, they'll have short leg, forward short leg, square short leg. They'll probably have a leg slip, gully, silly mid off.
Siraj comes forward and defends to extra cover, and there is no run. And there'll be plenty of advice available to the England openers on how to play the bowling.
A little bit of chirping, I imagine. Yeah, a little bit.
That was a lovely shot by Siraj. I was a little unfair in saying he's just lifted it over the head because it was beautifully timed. He comes down the track, and is that a drop catch by Joe Root at short mid-wicket? It would have been a spectacular one. He has taken a few spectacular ones. But it's all the fun of the fair here. 83 overs gone. India lead by 471. Ashwin has 103 from 135 balls. And Siraj is having enormous fun with 9 from 17.
Let me catch up with some tweets. Am I alone, says Tony Bishop, in feeling that the Bess and Leach should have been retained as a pair? Possibly England feel there were deeper issues with Bess. But as they bowl as a unit, they're most used to a pitch like this. But when we kind of talked about that to a certain extent. Going a long way back, we were talking about various strange named people on YouTube. Nishin Bajaj says, missed an opportunity to say flaccid fielding. Pirate Bradshaw says, not the most elegant way of bringing up a century, that, referring to the swing to leg that went over third man from Ravi Ashwin. This is currently a battle of the best, number 8, says Farong. I think Ashwin may be a good length or two ahead of Dom Bess. Oh, absolutely at the moment. Sadly, Dom will have to wait to prove his worth. Well batted, Ashwin, for your ton. Well played, Ashwin, says El Chopernos, he says, but you're still trailing England by some 18 to 20 runs. Take fresh guard and score a daddy 100. Are England about to give the ball to Ben Stokes?
No, they're going to give it to this man.
All right.
I wish my papa was an honest soul, that any granny comes to makes it his own. I wish my papa's honest soul, then I'd have a claim of my own.
Yeah, it would have been a good catch from Joe Root. The ball just burst through his fingers as he dived away to his left. It wasn't completely well timed by Siraj, but that would have been a very good catch. As it happened, it wasn't, and he eats the same dirt that Ollie Pope was eating a ball or two earlier. Moeen is better for a run. I think his second innings bowling has been a lot better than his first innings bowling, but he's bowled so little in first class cricket.
He hasn't played a first class match for 16 months.
Yeah, and how can you just parachute somebody in and say
no warm up game? At least you need a warm up game, don't you?
You've got to find your rhythm. Here's Ollie Stone, who's quick, and there's Ashwin. Oh, this is a good idea. He rings
I know what you're thinking.
Bottom hand there. And as was once said when I think Muralitharan had that brilliant match at the Oval with he took 17 wickets I think at the Oval. He was a bit of an unknown quantity in England at the time, and I don't know who was on the commentary who said, do they bowl at his wicket or do they bowl at his hand? And there might be a little bit of bowling at the hands here at Ravichandran Ashwin, because Ollie Stone is in, but this is very full, and Ashwin rocks back and plays what looked like a glorious extra cover drive off the back foot, but he didn't really have much timing, and the ball dropped a little in front of the England fielder. We're seeing a package here of Ashwin sweeping and slogging and biffing and bashing, and he's ridden his luck, but dear me, he's batted well.
He's an elegant player, isn't he? I mean, he is a good looking player. He's not just a biffer and a basher by any stretch.
No, but he's done a bit more biffing and bashing in this innings. I mean, when he first came into the side, he was a bit of a pound shot VVS Latchman, and a pound shot VVS Latchman is still a pretty damn good batsman to watch. He hasn't quite channeled Latchman in this innings because he's been much more leg side than Latchman would be. Oh, and there's a ball exactly at the hands by Ollie Stone, and Ashwin looks back at him, gives him a bit of an old-fashioned look. It was around waist height. I think it's twice now he's done that, Ollie Stone, and not quite beamers, but the second time it happens, you start thinking, oh, not quite sure about that. And yes, it was taken at waist height, and he did well to get a bat on it. Went all the way to deep square leg, but they did not take the single. That was 144 clicks as well, so pretty quick. They usually are when they're full tossers because of the way the velocity is measured. It goes back to a short one, does Ashwin, and again he's got no timing, and the ball is flat battered, strappled to the man at mid-on. And somehow Ollie Stone, with this licorice all sorts, has bowled 4 dot balls.
Well, he's only faced 130.
Typing chance.
Go on,
Ben.
No, I was going to say he's only faced 139 balls for this 103 as well.
Oh, it's quick. It's been quick.
Yeah, it's been quick. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, he's played his shots.
I was just going to say, Typing Chan says, magnificent innings from Siraj to get Ashwin to his 100, and heartwarming side of the match, Siraj celebrating like he scored a ton, says Nitin Bajaj.
Yes, that was very good. Ashwin looks up, he sees Ollie Stone, and just looked to me a little bit like a slower ball, and he gave himself room, did Ashwin, but again he's got no timing. The ball is flat battered to mid-off and there is no run. The crowd picked out someone looking a little like a guru in the crowd there, with long grey hair and beard. Hendo, if you wanted to affect the guru look, you're halfway there with the hair. If you grew the beard as you did a year or two ago, you would be very much the guru of guerrilla cricket.
Well, I have said that I would like to have a cult at some point.
And the beard suited you.
This is flat battered by Ashwin, but again he can only get it to the man at mid-on, and somehow that was a maiden. It's only the sixth over that Ollie Stone has bowled in the 84 of this innings. Quite how we got there, I do not know, but India 276 for 9.
Ultra Cricket Podcast says, well played, Ashwin, Ravi 99. Take a bow, wonderful patience to score selectively early on, then choosing the balls to attack, to bat with the tail and complete 100 with a strike rate of 76 on a tough pitch, which is what makes him my man of the match, I would have to say, and that's before he's done anything with the ball in the second innings. Statwatch, 110 wickets in the same test. Alan Davidson, Brisbane 1960, the tie test. Ian Botham, Mumbai, February 1980. Imran Khan at Faisalabad against India in 1983. Shakib Al Hassan at Khulna against Zimbabwe in November 2014. That's information provided by Knackle.
Yeah, I think Botham got 13 wickets in that match, and I think he spent every night boozing with Chris Lander in the bar till sort of 5 a.m. Grabbed a couple of hours sleep and then went out and took 7 and 6 and scored 100.
You probably have to tell people who Chris Lander is, to be honest.
Chris Crash Lander was a very famous cricket reporter in the days when what went on the pitch stayed on the pitch, so to speak, and was known to be very convivial with the players. I think that's right, is it, Hendo? You might know him.
I think he worked for the Mirror. I'm not 100%.
I think he was in the Mirror, yeah. This ball goes back. Does Siraj defended, and there is no run. Yeah, it was the days when the journalists and the players, when they were on the record, they were on the record, but when they were off the record, boy, were they off the record. And I think he was the leader of the pack in enjoying life on tour. Chris Crash Lander. As Siraj comes down the track, and he sort of forward defensive punches this ball to the right of mid-off, helps himself to a single, and he's made double figures. He must think this is an easy game.
Nitin Bajaj has a particularly good name for any guru that leads guerrilla cricket. He says Gorilla.
Oh!
Very good, very good.
Guru Singh used to play for Sri Lanka, didn't he? He was opening bat from memory.
Yeah, possibly. Dave Seros says nothing wrong with targeting Ashwin's hand, or better still, making him think that's what you're doing. Yeah, but I think it's better if you do it with bouncers rather than beamers, because they're not seen as very sporting, are they? Mog says, to quote someone from The Office, I've been involved in a number of cults, both as a leader and a follower. You have more fun as a follower, but you can make more money as a leader.
Yes. Well, there's some cultish behaviour going on in the United States at the moment, and that's not a misprint, but it could be in the world of politics. But it's Ravichandran Ashwin. As Leach comes over the wicket to Ashwin, there's an appeal from behind the stumps by Ben Stokes. I'm not quite sure for what. Perhaps he's forgotten that if you're not playing a shot... the ball's hit the helmet, I think. We're going to see 5.
Oh, my word.
We're going to see 5.
It gets worse.
Waiting for the call. Oh, no, it's dead ball.
No shot played.
It's a dead ball. It must have taken the pad, therefore. If it did take the pad, but you can't be LBW if the ball strikes the... if the ball pitches outside leg, regardless of whether you're playing a shot or not. The ball did indeed go onto the helmet, and perhaps that's what folks was pointing out, that the ball had actually taken the pad en route to the helmet. So England saved 5 vital runs as Leach is in again, pitching it into the rough, and Ravichandran Ashwin waits for the slowest of slow turn and just dabs it into the leg side. There is no run. And new ball hasn't really jumped, has it? We've had 1 or 2 misbehave, but the pitch is still pretty slow, and I mean, India's number 8 and number 11 are making batting look a bit of a breeze here. It'll be completely different when England go out. We know that's how the game is, but England have got to look at this and think, if we can get this into the 35th, 40th over, we're in with the chance of taking it to the 80th over, and then we're in with the chance of taking it to the 120th over.
And we're going to need about 100.
If you believe that, you believe anything.
Yes.
There's a mighty hoik from Siraj, who goes all the way to cow corner and deposits it in amongst the Chennai faithful. And dear me, Virat's loving it.
Do you think they got enough runs now? Please. I want to see England collapse, so don't have to come tomorrow. We've only got an hour now.
Bear, you're so keen to have a day off tomorrow.
You've only been in for one day this game.
Well,
I know. It's disgraceful, isn't it? The fact that I was actually working until 20 to 11 last night, and then up at 6 to be on the mic at 6:30. What a part-timer I am.
Well, there's 23 overs available tonight. Although 11:30 be the cut-off point. With spinners bowling, you could get that. You could actually get that. I mean, even with the 10 minutes between innings, it's not beyond the bounds of possibility.
Well, I'll lose 2 for the 10 innings. This is the last ball, then we're having a change.
Oh, right. I didn't expect to get the full compliment, I have to say. But I am, as Leach comes in, and this is defended by Siraj, who has 16 from 20. Ravichandran Ashwin has 104 from 143. India have 284 for 9, and the lead is 4,479,000. I'll be back later.
Okie dokie. I'm going to be joined by Fred and Jack, I think. And we shall see Hendo and maybe Gary later. I can't even remember what's on the thing. I'm quite tired. Yeah, Fred, why haven't they bloody declared?
Well, I think it's legitimate, actually. You've got a 4-match series. You want to wear them down physically and mentally, and the longer you keep them out, there's 2 days left in this game.
Yeah,
so, theoretically, it's not going to happen. But, I'd come out and bat for India tomorrow morning as well, just to absolutely grind England's bowlers into the dust. The more they have to bowl, the more time they spend out there. You cause injuries, physical injuries and mental scars, and it's legitimate.
You're an evil man.
When you've got your foot on your throat, you have
to
something England failed distinctively to do by their selections in this game.
Well, yeah, they did. They were forced to drop Jofra, weren't they, because of an injury, I think.
Well, I just say that England won the last Test match in India's first batting innings, and the people who took the wickets there were Archer, Best, and Anderson. And while Archer was missing because he's unavailable, the other 2 they chose to rest or drop.
That's true.
It doesn't make any sense to me.
Slower ball, I think, maybe. A little cutter by Ollie Stone. Beats the inside edge of Ashwin's bat. Not sure he's bothered if he gets out now on 104.
You know, to drop Best because they said he bowled a bunch of no balls, a bunch of full tosses. I mean, Moeen Ali's bowled more full tosses in international cricket than anyone else in history. He's king of the moon ball. It just didn't make any sense, unless there's something we're not being told.
No, well, yeah, but I mean, Best got wickets, but
he got really good wickets. I mean, he got Kohli out in the first innings.
Well, Moeen's got him out twice in this game. We've got him out for a duck in the first innings. Ashwin drives that to cover, and Ollie Pope fills it, and there's no run.
I mean, the way he's getting out to off spinners, I think Jason G. Hiscox would have a chance against him at the minute. But yes, but you know, the guy who's in possession, who's got him out in good fashion, you know, he's properly bowled him out in the first innings, to say, well, we're going to let you go and play somebody who hasn't played a game for, I don't know, 2 years. And hasn't hit double figures for 3 years in Test matches.
Cut out to the deep by Ashwin. It's fielded, and they'll come back for a couple. For a lead of 5.
The Anderson one is worse. Anderson, that over that Anderson bowled in the second innings, you know, good or top order batsmen do not get bowled very often in Test cricket.
No.
To bowl 2 of them in 1 over and have LBW turned down as well does not happen very often in India. He's got the hex over them, and you say, no, actually, we think he needs a rest. Bollocks! He bowled less than 30 overs in the match.
I know.
Absolute bollocks.
Kind of true. Jimmy? No, it's Ollie. Ollie Stone is in, bowls, and Ashwin has a big heave at it. Mistimes it up to mid-on, there's no run. I mean, I don't know. There is something to say that Broad is, you know, equal to Anderson. Probably not on the in-swinging stakes, but he does do in-swing as well. But I mean, if Hardy bowled,
well, he might be, but the man is just doing it. The man is in absolute form.
Yeah, no.
Why take a risk?
I think they did see this pitch coming, to be honest. I mean, like, I don't think England could have selected them their way out of this defeat.
If that's true, Anderson would be my first bowler on the team sheet, even if everyone was fit, even if Archer was fit.
Oh, there we go. Finally, at last, Ashwin's had a heave at Ollie Stone's got an inside edge that's knocked the bails off. India's innings is over. They're all out for 286. The lead is 485 or something like that. It's an enormous lead. England are never going to get it. And if they do, Christ, we're in for a Test match, but it's not going to happen. And that ends the innings. I know you're going to bother playing a wicket jingle. It's pointless.
I would just point out that this ground in 1985, England hit 652 for 70 plays with 2 double hundreds, one for Fowler and one for Gatting. It's the only time I think England have ever had 2 double hundreds in the same innings in the history of Test cricket.
Was it in the second innings?
It was on this ground.
The first innings, though, wasn't it?
It was. It was the only. I think Neil Foster took 14 wickets in the match as well. It was quite an astonishing victory at what was then known as Madras. You know, if England fans want a little bit of, it's not going to happen.
No, aim on.
No, the Anderson one is worse. I'm saying, you know, they go into these tours saying, you know, he's going to play this test, he's going to play that test. We know Archer's going to get injured. He gets injured every second Test match, so that absolutely screws up your calculations.
Yeah, I mean, what's the issue
and
with
to
his
drop
over?
a bowler who's bowled not very many overs and has shown absolutely prime Anderson form by getting top order batsmen out, you know, in manners which you don't get top order batsmen out. You don't bowl batsmen through bat and pad. If you're those top order batsmen, you're thinking, well, you know, where are the bowlers who got me out in the last Test match? Oh, they're all not playing. It doesn't make any sense.
No, there's a bit of that. There is a bit of that. Well, Leach was playing, and neither Leach nor Moeen ended up with a 5-wicket haul because Ollie Stone took the last wicket. That's a bummer.
Shall I run through some tweets?
Yeah, do that.
Got a little break in play. Leah, I know that the knuckleball is a successful innovation that came over from baseball, but why does Mo think the Ethos pitch would work as well? Do you know what the Ethos pitch is?
No.
It's a big, high, loopy full toss.
Yeah, the underarm moon ball. Good question. We'll have maybe ask him. Oxymoronica. I know it's a bit early, but I could do with a good curry and 6 pints of lager. It probably is a bit early. I'd say there. Mog. Sometimes a player getting dropped is because of precisely why we're told he was dropped. Not everything has to be a conspiracy.
Well, then it doesn't make sense.
I have to say, I think it sort of does make sense. I don't really think Anderson would have done anything on this wicket.
Really? One thing he certainly would have done is he wouldn't have gone at anything like the scoring rate that the other bowlers have done.
But Broad has come in and he's bowled with reasonable control, and so has Stone. I don't think the England season.
You're taking a risk here. You're taking a risk by saying, well, yeah, Broad might come in and bowl with reasonable control against the definite that Anderson is in peak season form. He's bowling top order batsmen through the gate.
Yeah, but then you're also taking a risk that Anderson ends up being bowled into the ground, or is a massive passenger in this match, and then he goes into the test we can actually win under lights.
I think
he's shagged.
Well, I do think there's an assumption that the test under lights will be beneficial to England, but I'm still not convinced about that, because I just think there's going to be shitloads of dew, and it's really going to be.
Yeah,
it's going to be really. I think at that point it's going to be really unconducive to swing or anything, because the ball's just going to be damp.
Well, this pitch is clearly not. I mean, this is speculation about a game that hasn't happened yet. I mean, with the game we have seen, I think we can be fairly sure that Anderson wouldn't have done much besides tie up an end.
Well, it has to be said that the ball, in terms of if you looked at the close-up of the ball as the innings have gone on, it's certainly the seam hasn't gone in the way it did on the red soil pitch. And they haven't been able to get the reverse that they were on. I mean, this pitch clearly isn't as abrasive as the last pitch.
Yeah.
And therefore, would you get the reverse swing? That's another question. I mean, you wouldn't have known that before the game. But it's clearly, I mean, we haven't seen anything like the reverse swing that we saw in the last game. So the conditions are different. And
well, no, we haven't seen it because the great practitioners of it are not playing.
Well, they are. Ishant's playing. He wasn't getting it.
Ishant Sharma didn't really move the ball. No. We've got a few more tweets, and then there's only 2 or 3, and then we can go back to talking about Anderson. Vasu, at the other end of the Chennai Stadium, I don't know if this was mentioned, is in honour of former Chief Minister C.N. Annadurai, who was fondly known as Anna. Farong saying, the day after the second test and series defeat, sadly a lack of cricket over the past 12 months hasn't helped, but 231s from 140 overs should have been victory. I'm not sure. I think that's about Bangladesh. That's why that was really confusing. And Mog saying it's time to play a crappy new Burns jingle.
Is he flogging his own stuff again?
Have we got a new Burns jingle? I don't know. When did you send that in, Mog? Quickly reply before we get out there. Oh yeah, there's a Mog jingle. I hope it is a new one. We shall find out. Yeah, I kind of know what you're saying. I don't think they wanted to play Anderson 3 tests in a row though in this heat and in these conditions, because they definitely want it. I mean,
but the joke is, of all the England seamers, him and Broad are probably the least injury prone. When you look at all the others, you look at Archer and Wood and Stone. Actually, Anderson has probably never been, never had an extended period of fitness in his whole career.
He has over the last couple of years.
It doesn't make sense. If you're a batsman who's just got out to somebody, you don't want to face him again. And
that's true.
England have taken away. Who did he bowl? Rahane and
Gill.
Gill. Yeah, he got wickets in both innings. He doesn't go for anything. His economy rate. Even in Australia, when England got mashed a couple of years ago, he was far and away England's best bowler in terms of economy rate on pitches that were doing absolutely nothing for him at all. He's a very, very canny bowler.
Yeah. Well, in Australia though, he was just bowling dry with a 7-2 field well outside the off stump. That's why he didn't go for any runs. He wasn't very competitive at the same time.
Well, yeah, but that works. Especially if you've got people who can take wickets at the other end. If you've got spinners who are going to take wickets at the other end, he's a very, very canny bowler. He's never been more aware of what he can do and what he can't do on the cricket field. I don't think it makes any sense. And if he steps on if he injures himself in the nets before the next test match, or he steps on a ball, then we're going to say, well, we were saving him for this test match. It doesn't make sense.
Well, talking about the next test, so presumably Archer comes back, Anderson comes back. They probably retain Broad, don't they? And then who dropped out of the side?
Well, one of the spinners. I mean,
but do you really want to go into whether it's day-night test or not? Do you really want to go into a test in India with only one spinner?
Well, honestly, I don't think Root, if he's prepared to bowl 20 overs in an innings, is going to be that much of a downgrade to Murray. If he has to bowl, if they say that Leach is going to be their prime spinner and they've got a part-time spinner in Root.
Well, I think there is an argument to go for broke in that match. I think there's a genuine
totally
case you could make that England just play a team that would be really good in England and kind of hope for the best, knowing that that's their best chance of getting out of the series with a result.
Well, it's true, because this is going to be 1-1 going into the second test, so you get a result there and they can't lose the series, can they? And they'd have knocked India out of the potential for the World Cup final, but they would still be in it.
No, if it's 2-2,
I don't think India can get through on a 2-2. I think if it's 2-2, Australia go in.
It's Australia.
The Australia, New Zealand in England, which of course we'll all be supporting Australia. It'd be interesting because I think if it was India, New Zealand, I think New Zealand are probably better suited to playing in England than India. They might finally get themselves a World Cup title. But if England could do it,
where it is and when it is and what the conditions are like.
Well, they're talking about
India have got a very good seam attack who would bowl well in England.
Yeah, well, we'll see that later this year. Maybe we'll doctor some pitches over here for England in the summer.
Well, it would help with India as well, because if you've got Bumrah and Ishant and Mohammad Shami, then you've got a very fine attack. So.
Mog says he sent the jingle in about 24 hours ago, and Holly Jolly has agreed that naming the end after Anna Forsyth would be better.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, so it is. Here it is, Burns 2. I'm going to download it and I'm going to get it in there in time for the start of the innings. Carry on talking.
Dave Sarah saying, but playing Anderson again just highlights how dependent they are, papering over the cracks.
Playing Root again shows how dependent they are on Root's batting.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable riposte to that. My view is that England were going to lose this match regardless of who they chose. India have played too well. I mean, it's slightly counterfactual, but India have played well, haven't they? And the pitch has really not suited England.
We are indeed, and I have just about done it. Here we go.
The Bear, you're on ball by ball.
I am.
Rory Burns, it's time to cut your hair, 'cause you're playing shadow with it. You are a guy with a bad haircut, and you're making no runs with it.
Cut your hair, Rory.
Ooh. Cut your hair, Rory. I think it quite suits him, Mog. Anyway, round the wicket. He gets off the mark this innings, and his first ball, instead of being out, is clipped nicely off his pads, down to the boundary. England are going to win. It's 4 runs. Currently going at 24 and over. It'll be over by tea tomorrow
before lunch.
Absolutely, sweet.
It's 1% of the runs already.
Just under. That's a nice shot to get himself off the mark. That'll make him feel better. I think they'll turn to Ashwin will open at the other end, won't he?
You'd expect him to, yeah.
And mind you, he has just batted for 4 hours. He might be a bit knackered.
He wants the ball.
Oh dear, a bit uppish by Burns, but he plays that through the offside, out towards the boundary. It's chased down by, I didn't see who that was, number 20, and he'll get himself back for 2. He moves on to 6 off 2.
We're now winning it before lunch tomorrow.
Yep, absolutely. It's looking good until the spinners come on. There was a little bit of swing there, not a lot. Or maybe it's just the camera angle.
No, it was out of the hand rather than late.
Stephen on YouTube liked the jingle. Mog?
Well, it's probably Mog under an assumed name.
Yeah. Bigging up his own jingles. 6 for none, England. Burns is facing up. Ishant is in. Third ball of the over. Jumps a little bit on him. Gets squared up a little bit, but defends it down into the offside, and there is no run. And a lot will depend actually whether if England can get a decent start and not lose a wicket for, I don't know, even 10, 15 overs, or at the end of the play today, for example, there's probably an hour left. We'll give them a little bit of heart.
Yeah, in 3 overs time when they're 3 down, we'll be laughing at that comment.
Which reminds me, actually, I should go under for the fall of the first wicket. I haven't done a lot of betting on this series, Fred. I did get England to win the last test. It was evens, which was a good one.
Yeah, I laid the draw when it went into better than evens. So I won that one with a day to go.
Let me get my betting account up. Here comes Ishant. He's into Burns. Oh, it's down the leg side, and he tries to clip it down there and misses it and doesn't get a strangle, and there is no run. India, England. What's the fall of the first wicket? Let's have a look, shall we? That's first innings LBW. Under the fall of the first wicket, under 26.5. It's a bit skinny considering they got 6 already. I'm still going to do it though.
The misery hedge.
The misery hedge. Shall I see what the odds are on England winning?
If it's anything under about 80, I'd be amazed.
Yeah.
Well, I shall tell you. I bet you it's about 20. I know. England's a win. You have a guess, Fred. This is ridiculous. Driven out by Burns. It's gone out to backward point and there's no run.
200?
No.
3.
No. You're going completely the wrong
Even
way.
money.
No, 12-1. England are 12-1 to win. How many Test matches have there been in history? About 1,000.
You sure you're looking at the right test?
Yeah, I'm looking at the right test.
They are. They're only 28-1 on Betfair. That's a bit strange.
The draw is 80-1.
The draw is 200-1.
I suppose the draw is so far out of the equation because there's so much time left in the game, unless there's rain, which there is going to be a result. There's going to be a result, yeah, but it's not going to be England. 12-1. Who the fuck is putting money on that? You bunch of fools. As that's left alone outside Burns off stump, there's no run. I mean, India, it's more like it, 33-1 on. That's about right.
Actually, yeah, that's a bit surprising. Only 28-1 on Betfair for the England victory.
Some
30-1.
Some very optimistic English people out there, I guess. Any more tweets, Jack?
Nitin cheering on Rory Burns, another 120 of those, referring to the 4 off the first ball. A few people have identified that Pavement supplied the original song that inspired the Burns jingle.
Oh, I didn't pick that up as a Pavement song, and I like Pavement.
You've hit a few pavements over the years.
Well, yeah. I've walked many a pavement too. Well, it seems to be a little bit of a stoppage as they decide who's going to bowl the second over. Imagine
it's
it'll
just playing mind games.
Oh no, it's not going to be who we think it was going to be. Mind you, there is a couple of right hand. Oh no, there's a lefty in there as well. It's going to be this man.
The stroke plays diverse, and as sweet as a slice of Battenberg.
On the first ball, zips past Sibley's outside edge as he prods forward, and there is no run.
The spin that will bring him some wickets. Oh, action.
It went through the surface big time, big puff of dust. That's too flat, too straight, and worked round a corner by Sibley, but there was a man on the 45 on a single, and he will get no run. He'll feel happy about that though. That wasn't particularly. It's the ones that get flighted on that line and just on the off stump. The ones that they. I mean, that ball didn't take any dust. If it doesn't take anything out of the surface, it's quite benign. But a lot of them are taking stuff out of the surface.
But you don't know whether it's going to.
Of course you don't.
When you have to set yourself to play the shot, do you?
No, you don't. And it's very worn at either end. Toss that up. See, the ones he tosses up and land on the pitch, they do tend to explode. That was too well wide of the off stump. Sibley just lets it spin, turn. It's taken by Pant. It was a good 2 feet outside the line of his off stump and turning away. I mean, that's just like a crater coming out of the pitch.
It's a good take by Rishabh.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, was it? That one's straight and that's whizzed past the outside edge of his bat again as he prods forwards to Sibley. And there is no run. And yeah, that one again took a big chunk out the surface. It's like an explosion of sand as it hits it. Last ball of Akshar's first over. That one goes straight on again, and you can defend the straight ones, Sibley, and the ones that are turning too much. Hey ho, England are going to win. It's 6 for none after 2 overs.
Brian on Twitter, I'm so confused. I've turned on Channel 4 and it is showing India still batting, but you're calling India batting. 63 seconds later, Brian on Twitter, problem solved. I'd selected Channel 4+1.
Genius. Yeah, no, England are
We'll
batting
get a
now.
bet on from Channel 4+1.
I was wondering you could do that. Yeah, this might be an opportunity to make money. I've not managed to remember to bet on collapses so far in this series.
Well, you've been very busy doing all the...
yeah, I know. This is not conducive to betting.
I'm just
Unfortunately.
massaging your ego.
Oh, thanks, Fred. I need it.
It might help to keep you awake, though, if you did have a bet.
Well, it might do. I was falling asleep twice today. First day of this test as well. Normally, all right in the first test. Ashwin looks like he's warming up. The crowd are clapping. And he's not going to take this over. Ishant's going to bowl, and he's got a great jingle. It goes like this.
Ishant Sharma's gonna get you, gonna look you right in the face. Better get yourself together, darling. Learn how to play pace. How in the world you gonna see? Netting against
Round the wicket to Burns with an odd style of his. He blocks it out to the point, and there is no run.
Superstar? Well, right you are.
He's bowling with a diagonal seam, trying to get some movement in the air. That ball certainly didn't go. I mean, that is the thing about this pitch. There hasn't been the reverse swing that there was in the last one. The ball certainly hasn't got scuffed up and knackered like it did in the last test. It's kind of weird because it's only 3 pitches across, but different topsoil.
It's a completely different colour. You can see
yeah.
it on the screen.
Yeah.
Well, I remember reading that article that everyone was talking about before the first series, and yeah, the one with the black soil, which was a clay, as that's defended up to mid-on, there's no run, which I thought would stick together more, to be honest, but it's proved not to be. Apparently it's red underneath and there's like an inch or something of this clay on top, and obviously the clay on top hasn't stuck to the red stuff on the bottom, dried out, and is just cracking off when it gets hit by the ball.
We're listening to Gardner's question time with the bear.
Well, it's interesting.
Yeah, it looked like... sorry, go on, Jack.
So I was going to say, Knackle has tweeted in to kill our optimism after England's flying start. This is the 2,411th test, and then to paraphrase, there's only been one test score over 451, and that was a timeless test ended by a boat schedule.
Yeah, it's true. And as Dan always used to point out, but England got like 600 in the 4th innings of that, or they were only 80 odd short, weren't they, when they decided to run it? They were chasing like 800.
According to Knackle, England seriously considered leaving their lower order behind to win the test.
Well, they were going to win it, and they were so close to winning it, and that's defended into the onside by Burns, and there's no run. I can't remember exactly what the scores were, but it was some ginormous score they had to get in the 4th innings. It was an absolutely enormous, and
but they might have got stuck there for the whole Second World War, because it wasn't it in the end of 38 or
something like that, yeah. And I mean, this is the thing: had they won that, even though it was a timeless test, the highest 4th inning score to win a test match would have been about 650 or 690. In which case, we'd all be going, "Well, no, it's been done before."
A quick scheduling query. Farong asks, will there be a team live for the IPL auction on Thursday?
Oh, I don't know, to be honest. Oh, tried to pull it there, did Burns, and Q ended it into the ground, and it went to second slip. I'm not sure there is. I think Knackle might be live tweeting it. But I've got to be honest, I have no interest in doing the IPL auction.
I know Knackle is joining us after the auction to talk about it on the cricket podcast. So, I don't know, listen to that instead.
Maybe you should listen to that instead, indeed. Very good podcast. I was on it just before the series, wasn't I?
Just before Sri Lanka, I think.
Yeah, it was just before Sri Lanka, and we all predicted 2-0, having said that there might be problems. What do you think it's going to be? It's going to be 2-0 England.
It was the most pessimistic 2-0 prediction I've ever heard.
I know. No, we were all right though.
Going to have a changeover in a couple of balls.
Oh, we are indeed. Yes. God, time's flying today. Left alone outside Burns is off stump as Shant comes in. 5th ball of the over, and it's through to the keeper. No run. 1 ball left. And then who's on for the last little bit then?
Hendo likes to give himself the end, doesn't he?
Yeah, so it'll be Hendo, Gary and Nestlers to take you through the denouement of the day.
The C team.
The C team, yeah, this is the A team. Who's out coming on camera? Sod off, Gary. Get your camera off for a minute. We've still got one ball left. Trying to creep in your screen time. There you go. Virat is playing to the crowd. I think that makes a difference as well, doesn't it, having a crowd in?
Well, I thought it would be great to listen to the crowd, but some of their shrieking when the ball's edged out the third man.
I know. It does sound like the soundtrack, weirdly, that they used to have when it was empty. It's defended up to mid-off. There's no run. I'm out of here. Fred's out of here. Jack's out of here. Hendo is back with Nestlers and Gary.
I was on the video to make sure I had the camera in the right place, which is, it matters. Hendo was peeking out of the bottom of his screen before, so...
Me. It's all about you, Gary.
No, it's all about technology.
I was going to offer you an extra over, Bear, but then Fred said, well, it's time for a change, so far be it from me to disobey the great Fred.
Indeed.
Yeah. And
you don't want a massage?
I don't want a massage from Fred of any sort, whether it's my ego or any part of my body. I can't think of anything actually as horrific as that.
I think he probably could do quite a good massage.
But he's probably got strong forearms, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we are going to get Ravichandran Ashwin. It's all going to go horribly wrong after 3 overs for England, where they've not lost a wicket. Ravichandran Ashwin, he's the man of the day. He's possibly the man of the Test match, and he's going to come on and see if he can get 9 of these wickets. If he can get 9 of England's wickets, he will go to 400 wickets. So that's something for him to aim at. And he's going to be bowling to Dominic Sibley, who has faced 6 balls but has yet to get off the mark.
Yeah, I think the secret of a chase like this is to take one day at a time.
There's about 3 days left, isn't there?
Exactly.
Oh no, just the 2. Well, a chase. I don't think we can call it a chase, really, can we? It's a see what happens. He's over the wicket, bowls to Sibley, and he's beaten him and he's caught him. He's got him caught behind, has he? No. It was the reaction of Rishabh Pant that got me interested. He juggled with it. It went straight on, didn't actually turn. devilish bowler that he is. It just looked all ends up as if that was Sibley gone, but he survives. What can he do? The second ball, 3 men around the bat, no one in front on the offside. He goes back to this and works it past square leg. Is there anyone further out there? Yes, there is. So it's only going to be the 2 runs. It's Axar Patel who picks it up with his right, turns to throw with his left, and Sibley is off the mark. England move to 8 for no wicket. Which of you guys is on tweets?
Me.
Oh my God.
Afraid so. Nitin Bajaj says Burns totally Quasimodo-like in that stance. There's a lovely line from Tim Delisle of The Guardian who says that Burns' batting is a bit like his haircut, flamboyant but not entirely convincing.
Beautiful. Onto the front foot goes Sibley. He's looking to bowl into a little patch outside the right-hander's off stump. That patch has been there pretty much from day one, and it's got more tricky as time has gone on, more going through the pitch. He's bowling with a hard new ball. Is Ashwin, he's in, bowls to Sibley. Sibley skews that a little bit as he gets his bat in front of pad without really moving very far forward. This might be England's problem. You've got to use your feet. You've got to be you've really got to be positive whether you're going forward or going back. That was neither really, and got caught and trapped in a slightly awkward position. Kohli got excited. Next ball, he goes back to that's much better and plays it to the man at short. There is also a short mid-wicket, so I suppose you can say that's a close fielder, but you don't see it as it focuses on the batsman at the far end initially. So we can say 4 men round the bat perhaps. In comes Ashwin again, looking for a bit of turn, but Sibley is right back, playing it at the top of the bounce into the offside, and he survived 1 over.
Steve Kelk on YouTube says, love the Burns jingle. Well, that's good because you're going to hear it 7 more times, or 6 more times at the start of each session.
Yes, says Gary, hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it? That would be very nice. Well, there's the match summary. India 329 and 286. England 134 and 8 for no wicket. England need 474 more runs to win, more than anyone has ever got in any Test match.
Well, you say tomato, I say tomato, because Leah, outside context problem, says both openers are off the mark, advantage England, moral victory, etc.
That's it, we've won.
Yeah, I think we have one. Axar Patel has switched to the Pattabiraman gate end. So we bowled one over, did he, at the Anna Pavilion end. So we've got two spinners in tandem again. He's going to be bowling to the left-handed Rory Burns, who has advanced to 6. There are 2 men out. There's a man at deep backward square, almost as far around as long leg, you could probably call it. And there's also a deep square in front of square. So if he does try to go over the top, then there are reinforcements back. Axar Patel bowls to Burns, and Burns defends on the front foot straight back to the bowler, and there is no run.
Oh, I like that leg slip. He's in the game there. I think
like
it's
the leg slip,
isn't it?
It's more of a leg gully, isn't it? I'd say it's a leg gully. Flicked past the man at short leg, and they will get 1. And Burns moves to 7.
They've got the score up what England need to get to win. Do you think on a big screen in the ground? Do you think they're just trolling them?
It signed Ravi Ashwin at the bottom.
It's just like, you need this.
No chance. No chance. We've had 8 entries for the GPL. I'll try and find out what those entries were and if anyone's still in the game, as it were. As England have brought that target down by 9 runs, and when you get it down to the 470s, you know you're in with a chance. It's a psychological barrier.
It's on.
So Sibley 2 not out off 12, and Axar Patel, who runs from almost parallel with the umpire, defended by Sibley, who's almost pushing his nose down into the dirt to get over the top of that one, and it's just rolls back up the pitch. There is no run. Patel again just twiddling the ball in his spinning fingers. He then bowls a flatter one, which strangely enough doesn't go straight on, and it's very well read by Sibley, who shoulders arms, and it does indeed turn away from the right-hander. And had he tried to play a shot of that, he might have been in a bit of bother. So watching the revs very closely was Sibley then. 3 men round the bat on the offside now. Again, a little bit of turn, a little bit of puff of dust as Sibley gets right over that ball. His head and his bat is almost parallel to the ground when he plays it. He's trying everything. He's it did pop, didn't it, when you see it in close-up? It did take something out of the ground. He's in again. That one goes straight on. That's the worry for Sibley and for England's right-handers, but he plays it okay into the onside, and it is a maiden. No, there's 1 run off it. England 9 for no wicket.
Neil Franklin on Twitter says Yorkshire supposedly went home early, only left 6 players behind to chase some runs at Taunton once. Fortunately, only lost 4 wickets, so the story goes. Well, I mean, Yorkshire didn't need a pandemic to practice social distancing back then. I suspect there were plenty of that team who wouldn't travel in the same car as another, so maybe that had something to do with it.
India scored 232 runs today, and now England have added 9 to that, so we've got 241 is the total. So what are the actual figures that we're looking at? That's what we need to know.
Well, there's
I need just 1 more run to be scored, and that's it.
Exactly.
Well, England could all be out for 10. It's possible. Well, we're looking. I suppose the first target for England is to get past the 36, isn't it? The ignominy of 36. They've got a slip, a gully, a silly point, and a short extra cover for Ashwin. He's going to be bowling round the wicket to the left-handed Burns, and once more Kohli is conducting the crowd, trying to get them to whistle and holler and various things like that. It's also a backward point, wideish cover, straightish mid-off on the offside, and oh my goodness me, that explodes from a defensive length, I suppose, a ball that you'd come forward and try to play on the front foot. Fortunately, Burns stayed back and watched it do what it was going to do. It's all about leaving here as well. This one he plays much more proficiently. It's a full ball. It's not going to turn too much from that length.
In your mind, what would you have given as a realistic target for England to win on this wicket?
He's beaten by that one, isn't he? Where's that gone? It's flown off the outside glove of Rishabh Pant and run away. Now, I'm curious as to see whether he got an edge on that. He did indeed. We saw Moeen Ali get out in that way in the first innings where he edged it and it hit the thigh of Rishabh Pant and then just loops up quite nicely for Rahane. This one, he knocked away from the slip rather than to the slip. And so Burns gets a life. Brings Sibley down to face. He settles down. Is he going to stay round the wicket or is he going to come back over? He's staying round the wicket. Sibley is forward and, well, I'm not sure whether there was bat involved in that, but it skewed away, seemingly off inside edge towards square leg indeed. It was off the bat and pad. You wonder whether India could be a little bit more attacking here with so many runs in the stable.
Do you been confident if England needed 260, 250?
No.
210?
No.
About 170 would be par for me.
Yeah. Ashwin in, he comes down the wicket and drives and gets it past Ashwin, past the non-striker as well. That might go all the way. Is it going to be pulled in by the fielder? No, it isn't. England have a boundary, and that's the way that Burns has got to play. He's got to risk it a little bit, and well done him.
That's me out the GPL.
Shot for crossing the boundary, crossing the boundary.
We've got some tweets coming in. Nitin Bajaj says, India bowlers looking too eager, expecting a wicket every delivery. England will have a good opening partnership.
This one is angled down the leg side a little bit and nicely flicked by Burns. He's going to get a couple more here, maybe even a third. No, they're going to settle for 2. England moved to 17 for no wicket at the end of the over, and that cost 8 runs, that Ashwin over. England are on the charge.
Yeah, it also fooled me. I thought it was the end of the over, but it was only 5 balls gone. Gloomy Aspect says, India held off declaring because they're scared of folks, by the way. There's some chat between Woy Palm and Messi Jazz. Leah, outside context problem, says, come on, England, do a spectacular collapse to the dismay of the broadcaster who is going to miss out on 2 days of ad revenue, all out by stumps. And,
you do realise, of course, Leah, I was just going to say to that, in response to that, of course, is that if we miss 2 days or effective 2 days of trying to flog you our T-shirts.
There'll be times to come for that, for T-shirt flogging. Indeed, but this is a positive start by England. Rory Burns has already scored 14 more than most people gave him credit for.
Oh, lovely delivery. Forward comes Sibley, right in the best spot as he tried to defend that, and it spun away from his outside edge. A little bit too far on this occasion. Sibley hangs in there. And England remains 17 for no wicket. 3 men catching on the offside. This one he angles into the legs, hoping to maybe get it to straighten, maybe find a leading edge, maybe get an LBW, but Sibley defends it well on the front foot. We're looking at Dominic Sibley's average against left-arm spinners since 2015, averaging 29.2. That's not wonderful. Thrown up again, comes forward, although we're thinking about a run there towards square leg, as I think it's Pujara was a little bit slow running round there, but it didn't seem as if Burns was alive to the prospect. So Sibley remains where he is. 3 not out. Burns has 14. Axar Patel is into his 3rd over. Only conceded the 1 run and doesn't concede again here as Sibley once more is forward to that delivery. And the ball runs up the onside of the pitch. Just wondering if anyone wanted to come in there and make a point. They were just sighs. They were just sighs from the boys.
Yeah. I was a bit reluctant because I'm on tweets.
Forward comes Sibley and strikes the ball into the man at City Point. So what might have brought him runs brings him nothing at all, which is very irritating.
It's kind of one of those situations where what do you say?
What do you say?
You know what's happening. You know what's probably going to happen.
It's just when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Patel in bowls, defended again stoutly on the front foot by Sibley. He survives another over. It's a maiden. England 17 for no wickets.
Well, you can say defended stoutly. I can say he lost 10 kilos, didn't he, over the winter? Well done, Dom Sibley. Warren says, morning all. Pant needs to control the ball using his thigh, not his pad. And that's an allusion to the previous over where there was an edge that took the pad of Pant and ballooned away over the field. Neil Franklin says this was before then when they all went by train. This is Yorkshire en route from Taunton, from which they could see the scoreboard with the wickets already down. The tale has it. So if you want to follow the tale of when Yorkshire left 6 players behind to see out a chase possibly less than 482 at Taunton, go on to @GorillaCricket, put that into the search bar on Twitter, and you can follow it there.
Ashwin bowls to Burns. Burns defends. Back to the bowler. There is no run. They've only got close fielders on the offside. You've got a slip, a gully, and a silly point for the left-hander. No one else within touching distance. And Ashwin is in again. He goes for the sweep. He's not got hold of it really very well, and it's fielded easily enough by Pujara, just running round on the 45.
I was going to make a remark earlier, but I can make it now, that we often talk about the batsman showing the maker's name. I'll come back to it in a moment.
It bowls again. It's too full and just pushed back to him by Burns.
But Ashwin was showing the maker's name on the ball because the rotation he was getting with the seam meant that we saw the maker's name in super slow-mo as the ball went down the pitch.
SG, and this time it's a flattered delivery, but Burns commits himself to coming down the wicket and blocks very well indeed.
Well, Ashwin didn't like the ball in the first test. I suspect he rather likes this ball more than the version he got in the first test.
Well, it didn't stop him getting 9 wickets. That's all I can say. So I'm not sure what his problem is. Anyway, here is Ashwin again. Bowls to Burns. Oh, and he goes back to that, and it jumps and pops and leaps and does all sorts of gymnastics as it passes the outside edge by some distance in the end. Ooh, sparkling revs on that when you see it in slow motion. Extraordinary. He's in again, and this time the ball slides off a thick outside edge as he presses forward to backward point. It's another maiden. Consecutive maidens been played out by England, who are 17 for no wicket off 8. Oh, Hombre Nuevo is the only man who can win the GPL, and that's if England finish on 35.
Good man.
There you go.
I keep waiting for the ball to plug. You know, because you see when the ball goes in and it explodes.
Yes.
It's almost like half of it or a third of it sort of disappears into the wicket, isn't it?
Oh, do you think it might one of these days it might just disappear completely down a hollow or something?
Well, just like a golf ball, you know, it just goes boom.
And they'll have to dig it and find where it's gone.
Then there'll be problems.
Patel bowling to Sibley. Sibley plays forward. It does spin, takes the bat quite high, but goes to ground.
I remember Tom and Jerry playing golf, and I think there was so much spin on the ball that it dug itself into a trench. Maybe that will be the case here.
Patel in again. Oh, he's got to be in trouble here. He's gone back to that, and he's been given LBW. It went on. The only thing that could save him would be height, but I don't think that's going to work. I think that is out. He was going back to that, and it hurried through. And Burns is saying pretty much that. He's saying, sorry, I know you used to play for Surrey and we were good mates in the past and we both were born in Epsom, but you've got to go, mate.
You silly little boy, what on earth were you playing at? No!
I mean, we
saw
no
doubt about that.
Yeah, we saw Ashwin and Kohli play that shot quite often, but it was a softer ball that didn't hurry on so much. And I'm not entirely sure that Sibley was watching that ball all the way onto the bat. He came across it, but he missed it, I think, by some way. But again, we said it before, it's different with a soft ball. It's different when you face 30, 40 deliveries. He shouldn't really be playing at a cross-the-line shot like that, should he?
Well, I think he needed to get. He'd gone deep in the crease, but he needed to get a little bit more inside it. To play it, and then be able to push it out on the offside. As you say, he came down a little bit across it in the end. But this is the problem. England don't use their feet very well. I mean, you can't really expect them to. They don't face this sort of bowling.
Well, he stepped forward and then stepped back.
Well, they often have a little trigger movement, don't they? A little press forward.
And by the time by the time he'd done all that, it was out.
Yeah, it became fashionable with Duncan Fletcher, didn't it? The little forward pressed, the initial trigger movement. I'm not sure how beneficial it is, to be honest.
Well, it was a trend for a while, and it worked. If it works, keep at it. Mog says the collapse is on.
Surely is. It surely is. We've got, about 40 minutes to go tonight. Dan Lawrence has come to crease. We'll jingle him up in a moment. 3 men remain around the bat. What's he going to do? He's going to go back rather than that while he's been hit on the pad. It's not out. It drops down between his legs. And Lawrence survives. But only just. Let's have a look at this again. It's the angle where his bat is coming from. He is trying to work that to mid wicket, and he probably should be a little bit more inside it, trying to work it towards extra cover. Patel in again beats him with a ball that turns. He was right forward, and it beats the outside edge by some distance. Now, going back to the way that Steve Smith played at Pune a number of years ago, when I think he got Australia to a victory, didn't he, on a pitch that was really turning a long way.
He was brilliant.
He just went forward and allowed the big spinning delivery to pass his defensive shot. In he comes again. Lawrence is overbalancing ever so slightly as he just about gets the bat down on it.
England are back to balls they should be forward to, and forward to balls they should be back to. They need to get on they used to have a machine, Merlin was it, that could bowl different spinning deliveries.
Bowled leg breaks when Warne was at his peak. This is Lawrence going onto the back foot. Does get inside this one and does play it well enough to the man at silly mid-off. And that is the end of the over. It's a wicket maiden for Axar Patel. He scored bowled now 4 overs, 1 for 1 are his figures. He's the demon of the second innings. Burns has 14. Lawrence yet to score. Yes.
Tweet.
Take a breath. Tell me some tweets.
Well, we haven't got any tweets that are not yet read, but over on YouTube, SCS Cope says, my sides hurt whenever I see Sibley and Burns contort as they bat, yet neither of them are particularly elegant to watch, but they have been effective in county cricket, and they've each got to test match hundreds, so they have it within them to play this game, but this is tough conditions at the end of a long day for England, and they really need to tough this out now.
Ashwin then to Burns. Burns goes back, tries to cut, is beaten by that one, cuts underneath it. Well taken this time by Punt. Just letting his whole body give, not just his hands. That was very well done by the wicket keeper. His stock has gone up as a keeper after those 2 catches yesterday, you have to say. This one turns from possibly just outside leg stump. Gets wrapped up between bat, pad and glove, and rolls down the shin of Burns. And there is no run.
Yeah, I think Pant at the same...
flicked away this time by Burns. He thought he was going to get a run there, but he's not. Pujara is stationed behind square leg, and he whips the ball in over the bails. I think England just getting stuck a bit here as well, aren't they? Just in terms of runs.
I think Pant's a better keeper than Pryor or Stewart at the same age, and they went on to be excellent.
I don't agree with that regarding Stewart. That's flicked away by Burns. That will probably go for 4, and indeed it does.
It's Nissan She. It's Nissan She.
Chase is on again.
The chase is on. Yes, we've broken the shackles, picked up another boundary, and if anything, Ashwin is just erring down the leg side slightly. He's obviously trying to get it to turn back, and perhaps get Burns in the way that he got Ben Stokes yesterday. But just at the moment, erring down the leg side.
Well, he's had a long day in the field, batting rather.
It's true.
Yeah.
In he comes again to bowl to Burns, and Burns is down the wicket, blocks this one. He's looking for runs down the ground, but he won't get them. Mid-on, scoots round to his right to field.
Which element of the Stewart statement is wrong that he...
I think Stewart was always a good wicketkeeper. If you saw him from a very young age, which I did, and played with him from a very young age, you would have seen he was a very good keeper. Swept by Burns. That is a very good shot. He's got hold of that all the way along the ground. 4 runs.
1, 2, 3, 4.
I saw quite a bit of Stewart as a keeper, and I think he was good. I don't think he was very good, but he improved to be an outstanding keeper for England. In fact, in his late 30s, he was probably in the form of his life as a keeper.
I think he was always a good keeper. I
enough.
disagree with people who say that he was. He was obviously a notch down from Russell, but I think he was a very good keeper who possibly would have been more successful as a keeper if he hadn't had to open the batting at times. This is interesting from Lawrence. He comes down the wicket and then whips this over the top of mid-on. Leg side Larry has larruped that through the leg side.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
And Farong says perhaps England should practice the hokey cokey to help them play against spin. You put your right foot in, etc. Well, that was good to see a bit of foot movement there from Lawrence.
Yes, indeed. He's off the mark now. He goes to 4. Slightly risky shot across the line, but not so much across the line, but against the spin. But he played it well. Patel is into him again, and he gets onto the front foot and defends that past the man at City Point to extra cover, short extra cover.
Woy Palm says, have England been coached by KP on how to play left arm spin? Well, to be fair, he worked out a method, didn't he, KP? He wasn't good for a while, but he did work it out.
He did get out to some rank left armers, to be fair. He's come down the wicket again, and he's whipped this from outside off stump back over mid-wicket again. This is leg side Larry at his utter best. I didn't know why he was called leg side Larry, because I've seen him play some nice shots through the offside, but this is definitely quite innovative.
2 + 2 is our man. 2 + 2 is our man.
It's an extraordinary shot. It really is. He's taken that from a foot and a half outside off stump, and he's whipped it. He's lifted it.
Positivity, though.
Yes, this is the way to play. He's found a method. Will it last?
No.
Will he hole out to mid-wicket?
Yes.
We wait to see. Axel Patel is in again. He goes back. Defends to Selimanov, who doesn't manage to stop the ball.
Well, he
covers.
He knew where the gap was in the field, and he kept his head down. Didn't try and hit it too hard. It was a pretty good shot from the.
Well, it was a good shot. I'm not knocking it at all, but it shows something of his unique method. This is beating the outside edge as he pushes forward on this occasion. So a couple of boundaries from this over. It'll just make the Indian bowlers think. If he can carry on doing that for a while, it could be quite entertaining. And we could get a bit of play tomorrow, which will delight Tony, seeing as he's the man who's at the helm in the morning. In comes Patel, he goes back and he beats him with one that turns sharply, perhaps too sharply, because it misses his edge and it misses his off stump. It's the end of the over. England, after 11, chasing 482 to win, are 33 for 1.
Warren on Twitter says, lost track of the red wicket versus black wicket debate, but pretty sure this will be the one that the BCCI push going forward.
Maybe they'll have to roll it up and take it to Ahmedabad with them. I don't know what the Ahmedabad pitch is likely to be like. I mean, have they played any Test cricket at this new ground yet? I'm not sure.
No.
Someone can update me on that. What's it called? Matera Stadium, something like that. I think it's called.
It's the home of the hometown of the Prime Minister, isn't it? It's Modi's base.
Is it the Modi Dome?
I think it might be the Modi Dome. The Modi Dome is a very good name. You should license that.
Absolutely. Ashwin bowls a beauty to Burns, but Burns has to say, well, that's going to happen. He pushed forward on the line of leg stump, which is where the ball was going, and it turned away and over the top of his middle and off stumps, I think you'd have to say.
I'll tell you what, if he edges that, nobody's catching it.
Possibly not, unless it hits the thigh of the wicketkeeper on the way through and loops up. Here he is again, Ashwin, exactly the same position, but clipped this time by Burns. He'll be annoyed that he found mid-on. There was a chasm between mid-on and the rest of the field on the leg side. But, he picked him out, so Burns remains on 22. And he comes again, goes back to that one. He's trying to play that with a whip of the bottom hand, as much as anything, to get that down into the ground quickly, rather than actually work it into the onside. So each player trying to find a method, and at the moment doing quite well.
Yeah, watch the ball is the absolute key here.
Ashwin in again. He's down the wicket. He drives slightly uppishly. He's coming through for a single. Could be in trouble. He's got there. Drops the bat.
No point.
What's going on? What's going off out there? Cody's entertained by it all and is having a few words. But they got there, which brings Lawrence down to face Ashwin for the first time.
How many overs are left? Because we're due a change, but there's no one to change to.
Well, we're just going to keep going. Unless you want to drop. I think Fred said he was available. Do you want anyone want to take you?
Yeah, go on,
Fred.
Early break? I'll drop it out.
All right, Fred can come in on summarising duties.
That was a ludicrous run. That, I mean, he hit it straight at Kohli, who was quite close at mid-arm, and a gather and throwing down the stumps, and England would just thrown away a wicket.
Cleverly bowled by Ash when he saw Dan Lawrence coming and he pushed it wider of the leg stump, which made it difficult for him to reach it, but he did quite well. This is a real cat and mouse game, and it's going to be fun for as long as it lasts. Let's hope it lasts a long time, and then it'll be more fun. We've got a man at slip, we've got a man at leg slip, we've got a man at short square leg, a shortish mid wicket, a mid on, a mid off, and Ashwin is operating from round the wicket. Oh, now where's that gone? I'm not even sure whether it came off pad or bat. It's gone down the leg side, it's running towards the boundary, it's gonna get there. It could be leg buys, it's in fact buys.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Frederick.
It looked to me as if Fred had frozen for a moment on there. No, it's a frightening prospect. I don't know which is Fred's best face, but that's certainly not it. 38 for 1 from 12 overs.
Screen grab.
Let's get it.
Lee, outside Cricket Problems, says we really shouldn't call it the Modi Dome. I think my point was more to do with the assonance and the euphonious sound rather than the political leanings, which I understand many people have objections to, but I'm afraid I'm not entirely across Indian politics. It's just too big a subject.
How dare you come on here without knowing your Indian politics deeply, Gary? I'm ashamed of you.
I know, letting the side down.
Burns has 23. He's facing Axar Patel coming over the wicket. He goes back to this one. It goes straight on. It skews in that weird fashion that Burns has. He seems to play down the line, but it skews off the bat into the offside. And there is no run. I'm not sure that he didn't get a bit of bat on that, looking at the replay.
I thought when I saw it the first time that one that was given as buys was off the bat, actually.
Never
because
mind.
the umpire's given something doesn't mean anything.
Axar Patel bowls into the legs of Burns, who manages to turn it down into the ground before it reaches the man at short leg.
But the England batsman, if anything pitches outside leg stump, should just kick it to the boundary because the umpire will think he was playing a shot.
Steady on, Fred. Steady on now. You are so controversial.
That is the worst decision, I think. I mean,
Axar Patel bowls. He's swept by Burns, but there is a man out there at more of a long leg than a deep backward square, and he picks up the single. Burns goes to 24, and England are 39 for 1. It's the Axar versus Lawrence show again. What is leg side Larry going to conjure up in this particular over? He's got 3 balls of it to face, and it'd be interesting to see if Axar Patel decides to come over the wicket or stays round to him. He's going to stay round, I think. He is. He's in. He bowls. He's forward. Gets an inside edge onto pad. It rolls out harmlessly where there is no fielder close in on the onside.
We've got a comment on YouTube. This is before you even came on, Fred, saying wicket falling, collapses on, 4-hit chases on, tremendous rib tickling commentary.
Oh, he comes down the wicket. I think he was trying to work that one into the onside, and he got a horrible leading edge. Fortunately, it went all the way along the ground up to mid-off. Wasn't quite there to play the shot over mid-wicket.
Are you saying it was tremendous rib tickling commentary and then I came on?
No. So we always expect a bit of rib tickling from you.
Oh, he aims a rather airy drive at that one, gets a thick inside edge towards square leg. They're going to hurry through for the single. England move into the 40s. 40 for 1, I tell you. They only need another 442.
And that's rib tickling of the Brian Close at Old Trafford 1976 kind. I should credit that comment to Sundipta Banerjee.
Well, it's great to have you along. I noticed we've seemed to have got a few new fans. I say fans, maybe not fans, but listeners to us from India, which is always great.
we've got an old listener, Marg, who says there could be a chance for a sneaky 100 by an enterprising batsman here. Plenty of runs to play with. Maybe the Indians won't really notice until they're like 110.
Well, exactly. He's got hours to bat, hasn't he? You could do your average a world of good here. Anyway, it's Ashwin round the wicket to leg side Larry. Leg side Larry goes back and gets an edge, just short of Rahane diving away to his right. So this is another equally fascinating confrontation. Young man trying to make his way in the game, who's started well in Sri Lanka, then it's all fallen apart a little bit for him. He's down the wicket again. This time he tries to bunt it through, fairly straight, but mid-off is around to prevent that. But he's certainly not going to stand there and prod away like he did in the first innings for 52 balls for 9. He's going to try and be a bit more proactive, although he does prod at this one. Actually, it's a good prod. He gets well forward and prods it all the way back to the bowler.
Everyone likes a good prod now and again.
Everyone likes a good prod, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. The mid-wicket comes a little bit squarer as we see from above. And just as Ashwin is about to deliver, Lawrence decides he's not quite ready. Not quite sure what it is. Something to do with his thigh pad or his box is discomforting him slightly.
He's tickling his ribs.
He tries again. He's in. He tries to sweep. It works a little bit. Anyway, I think it may have hit the man at short leg and then rebounded towards mid-wicket, but he connected with it quite well. So this is a great deal of fun while it lasts. But how long will it last? I expect to wake up at about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning to find it's all over. But that'll be Tony will be there, and he will be hoping to guide England to an astonishing success.
Steve Kelk has a different view on YouTube. I'll give you that after the next ball.
I will. Give you a chance to do that. Down the wicket he comes. He's gone for the lofted stroke. He's connected pretty darn well. That's gone all the way into the pavilion. This is the way England have to play. It's 6 runs.
One toke over the line, sweet Jesus, one toke over the line.
And don't forget, if you enjoy what we do here, if your ribs are tickled by anything we say, if parts of you feel all warm and cosy, please help Guerrilla Cricket survive by either going to our merchandise stall, which is on the website. I'll tell you where you get the website. This is Push to Mid-Wicket by Lawrence, and that is the end of the over. 6 runs from it, England 46 for 1. So either go to the website, guerrillacricket.com, and look for the shop. It's on the front page down the right. You can find all sorts of things: cups, t-shirts, bath mats, shower curtains, bedding, bats, even bat stickers for your car, just about anything. Or you can go to patreon.com, patreon.com/Guerrilla Cricket. And if you consider that you may want to listen to us again in the future, you could give us a monthly donation, which plenty of people do. And for that, if you give us $10 or more a month, you go onto the revolving carousel of glory, which is on the bottom of our YouTube and Facebook feeds.
Well, Steve Kelk says, good that we've moved on from the 444 runs to win. Now that we've moved off this quadruple Nelson, victory is assured. Well, it's not quite what England expects, but who knows what tomorrow may bring, as it was once in a lyric.
Well, Axar Patel's going to stay round the wicket to the left-handed Rory Burns, which is interesting. And he's in and pitches just outside leg stump. He works it past mid-wicket. Nicely played by Burns. He'll pick up a jogged single. Score goes to 47 for 1, and he's gone to 25.
Well, Knackle has a view, says the Modi Dome is absolutely what it should be called. In fact, I have been for weeks. It was his idea when he ran Gujarat to rebuild it as the world's biggest cricket stadium, and he took it on as his own personal project even after becoming PM. So,
is it actually in the same? Is it the same actual field as we had before at Ahmedabad, or is it in a completely different position? Axar Patel round the wicket to Lawrence, who plays that more calmly. Perhaps those runs have just settled him down a little bit. Strokes it nicely into the offside.
I think Knackle said rebuild, which would suggest it's in the same location.
Yeah, it does. It does suggest that, doesn't it? Just more seats. It
must have double checking there.
Must have been a very sort of open area anyway, to be able to bump it up to 110,000. Lawrence goes back, plays this into the onside. There is a little bit of turn, it stands up for him a little bit. And,
If you only let in smaller people, then you could get more people in.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think cricket needs to look after the smaller person.
So you, me, and Gary.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's a delightful delivery by Axer. He gets quite a lot of pace on the ball, and when you turn the ball at that pace, it's very difficult for a batsman.
Well, Knuckle is providing more detail, for which we're grateful. Since the last time even the old one hosted a test was over 8 years ago, and it's been completely rebuilt since. So anyone who tells you they know how the pitches will play is lying.
Patel in again. Forward comes Lawrence. Plays it into the onside. There's a gap there at mid-wicket. They'll take an easy single. England move
10% of the way there.
10%. They've just got to do it in 10%, haven't they?
Yeah.
Did you commentate on a test match at Ahmedabad for a previous version of Guerrilla Cricket, Hendo, when I seem to recall India made about 900? But maybe that's just a false memory for me.
Well, I think the largest total I commentated on was the one at Chennai 4 years ago when they got 700 plus.
Yeah, it wasn't far under that from memory. It was a real road.
In again to Burns. Axar Patel flicked past the man at short leg, straight to mid-wicket. There is no run. It's the end of the over, 48 for 1.
Echo says, waiting for Burns to scream YOLO and do it in sixes. Lee, outside context problem, says, I'm pretty nervous about the day-night test. India needs to select Ishant Sharma and win to make a teary-eyed Root waddle out with a signed shirt to congratulate Ishant on 100 tests. That's an allusion to Nathan Lyon and Ajinkya Rahane. Mayank says, this pitch looks like it's backwards. It's now getting easier to bat on and less demons. I've got a comment on that later. Echo says, plug the archive. It's epic. Farrong says, at this rate, England should claim victory tomorrow at 4:44 p.m.
Lawrence is forward to Ashwin, who's now switched to over the wicket. That spins and jumps on him a little bit, but he's in control, just about.
And Harriet Atkinson says, I'm going for a draw. Well, there is apparently a 0.7% chance of one.
Did we have some odds from earlier? Back goes Lawrence and defends, and Ashwin tries to manoeuvre Rory Burns out of the way as he skips around to the right. They're going to run a single, because no one seems bothered in picking up the ball. Eventually they do. I think it was Axar Patel in the end.
Delage.
The odds at the moment are India 25 to 1 on, England 24 to 1 against, and the draw 200.
Lovely ball that from Ashwin. You could see Lawrence's eyes light up. He thought that's going to be a full toss, and then it dipped at the last minute, and he had to control his shot and guide it up to mid-off. Very clever from the... Can we call him a veteran? Ashwin, I think he's a veteran at 34. Yes. He's looking for those 400 wickets. Lawrence is going to steer this through mid-on with a little bit of foot movement, and he'll pick up a single. England move to 49 for 1. 49 for 1. They're past 36. I forgot to mention that. We got past 36. It's a victory.
The important thing is, I don't think anyone thinks England are going to win this game, but there are still 2 test matches to go after this. We don't know what's going to happen the day-night test. But there's a 4th test as well. The longer England can bat against these bowlers in testing conditions, it's good for the series, it's good for their careers, because this is how you learn to play. You know, you find ways of doing it, and you learn on the job.
You do. This is defended by Burns a little bit too full, as he probes still around that leg stump line, looking to turn it from there to the middle and off stumps.
So if anybody says, what's the point? They might as well hit out and get out by lunch tomorrow. No, if they can bat for a day, it will help them immensely.
Absolutely, I totally agree. Oh my goodness me! But he's not going to bat for another minute, let alone another day. Rory Burns, he did try to turn that on the onside, got a horrible edge that looped up, was caught easily, and England have lost their 2nd wicket. Burns can't believe it. He's shaking his head. And, that's his last experience of Indian bowling until he gets to Ahmedabad.
After you've gone.
I mean, it's just bad batting. I mean, England have lost 2 wickets to 2 really poor shots. First one across the line, that one an attempt to close the face, getting a leading edge on a turning wicket. It's not the wicket that's doing that, it's just poor shot selection and poor
It's not
technique.
just bad batting. You watch that in slow motion, that ball is a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it is, yeah, but you're going to get good deliveries in Test cricket, but you should not be playing that shot to that ball. And on that point, you often hear, and I'd be interested in your views, gentlemen, on this. You often hear that the pitch isn't going to get any better, or it's not going to improve. In my time watching cricket, almost every Lord's pitch gets better, and quite often turning pitches do get easier to play because they slow down, and the fizz that you get from deliveries, instead of that fizz coming from 2 or 3 deliveries and over, they come from 2 or 3 deliveries a session. And this pitch has got easier because it's got slower. And Kohli and Ashwin in particular showed this in their partnership, that they could watch the ball onto the bat, not commit too early, and play off the back foot as well as the front foot. The first 2 days it was quite hard to play off the back foot. Today it's been much easier to do so.
That may also be the case because England's bowling and the match situation meant that it was easier.
Yes. There's always more. The multivariant problems, as I think they call them in universities or whatever. But if you play bad shots to good balls, you get out, and that's what England have done.
I'm going to say something about. I'm going to say something about the techniques of these England batsmen. It's been said many times before, but I do think that the technique that they may get away with in cricket, where the pitch is not doing very much at all, even when it's seaming, may not be conducive to when it's a raging turner. Start of a new over is worked up to mid-on by Dan Lawrence.
And we haven't mentioned who the surprising number 4.
Well, it's not really that surprising. I was expecting it. This is defended on the front foot. The new batsman is a wonderful man. He scored a top score of 92 in Test cricket. He's no mug with the bat. In comes Axel Patel. Bowls, that's a beauty, which bounces and turns away from Lawrence. Nothing you can do about those. You've just got to put them out of your mind. Yeah, I mean, he's playing. It's a good ball, but he's
beaten in the flight. He's trying to take that on the half volley and push it through the leg side.
Quicker ball from Patel. Lawrence plays it down to silly mid-off.
And it's being beaten in the flight. It's the dip that's got him, and that's what's made it into not a half volley, and that's why it looks bad when he's taking the edge. But if you take any ball on the half volley, you're in good shape as a batsman.
Back goes Lawrence and works this into the onside towards square leg. Pujara comes around the field. They take the single, and England's 50 is up. England have 50 runs, but they've got lost 2 wickets. And both the openers have gone.
Show them the maker's name. Don't close the face like that. The percentages are all against you when you close the face.
In Leach's relatively short Test career, how many different places has he batted in the order?
Yeah, a good few, I suppose.
He's probably batted at 9, 10, 11, 1 and 4, something like that.
Yes.
3? No, was it 3?
Did Jason Roy make him take first? No, he came. Did he open the batting, or did he?
He opened the batting
as a night watchman.
He opened the batting
against Ireland. Yeah.
Yep. I think
if you open the batting as a night watchman, you should take the first ball.
Yeah, you should really.
Absolutely. Andy Jones says, "Morning from Rhode Island, USA, chaps. Loving the show. Question: should I set my alarm for 5 a.m. EST time tomorrow, or be a pessimist and sleep in?"
I would be a pessimist because Jack Leach, despite having 92 as his highest score and opening the batting and batting in every position for England, has gone first ball. He's caught a leg slip to a ball that turned into him. We're going to have to find the emergency night watchman now, because if Root comes out now and gets out, I don't think I'll be able to show myself in polite society for years.
Oh dear! He just turned that to a man who was waiting for him to turn at the.
That's how he got his most famous run.
Yeah, your strength is almost also your weakness, Fred.
He's not coming out in a few hours' time and showing that shot again, though. Headed in 2019.
I know he's a tail ender, but I keep saying this about leg slip. I really don't think batsmen register the man is there. They turn it to them off the face of the bat so often. Here you go, Hendo.
Well, I would have sent in the emergency night watchman. I really don't need. My heart doesn't need this. I'm afraid to say, but it is Joe Root 66.
His voice is high-pitched and ginger hair like a pict, but massive runs he has hit, so there's that. Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root, actually.
It is actually Joe Root. It's not someone dressed up as him. It's the man himself. He's having a long chat with Dan Lawrence. Dan Lawrence has come down the wicket to say, I know you've got a couple of double centuries and a big century in the last few innings, but I'm going to give you advice on how to bat here. And that is basically just get to the pitch of the ball and just whop it over mid-wicket.
I think he also said, I was expecting you, Mr. Root. After that innings, Seagrass Saab says, I wonder if something like the bigger or the larger of the MCGs, or maybe the greater MCG, might catch on for Modi's cricket ground in Ahmedabad. Johnny Rogers says, is this wicket the cricket wicket equivalent of Benjamin Button, in that it's growing younger?
Lawrence down the wicket to Ashwin, and it's the start of a new over. He's worked it up to long on, and he's taken the single. I think I may be too nervous to commentate from now on.
Gary, talk us through that last ball of Ashwin to Lawrence, where he's come down the wicket and played it into the leg side.
I didn't actually see it. I was looking at tweets, so I can't see it. What I mean is that the percentages are against you. If you play that shot 10 times, you might get out twice. Whereas if you play with a full face, if you play the shot 10 times, you might get out once. Or even if you play the shot 100 times, you might get out once. In the circumstances, late in the day, I think play with the percentages in your favour, not against you.
Lawrence Root says, so I'm not doing tweets. Why did I start to read that tweet?
Me.
You're all over the place, Heather.
Neil Franklin says, chance to win in India might not come round again for a while. They really ought to think about going for it in Ahmedabad. Well, pink ball in hand, I think Jimmy Anderson will be going for it.
Ashwin to Root, and he's forward, and there's an appeal for LBW. He has to run back because Rishabh Pant says, you're out of your ground. I'm going to flick this back, so you better get back. England have 7 minutes to survive and give Tony something worth commentating on tomorrow.
7 minutes and 2 days.
Yes, well, there is that.
Knackle's back with more news about a building that seems to have more history than that cathedral in Barcelona.
Root goes back and he tickles this away all the way along the ground. He got that into the turf as quickly as he could. He's got his first run. He's jogged up the other end, and England move to 52 for 3. But don't worry, England fans. One of those is the night watchman. Doesn't matter. Discount him. So it's really 52 for 2.
52 for 2.5.
Yeah, maybe. Lawrence is back down to face. He's got 19 from the 35 deliveries that he's faced. I'm looking forward to him playing in the Boxing Day test in the Ashes, because then you can say, Merry Christmas, Mr. Lawrence.
Oh dear. As an example of how runs mean different things in different contexts, and the number of runs is not necessarily that important. I'll continue after this ball.
Ashwin bowls! What's happened there? Has he been caught? Lawrence is saying no. I'm just going to shake my head. I don't know where it came off. Pad certainly. I'm not sure whether there's anything else involved.
Everyone's shaking their head.
He's shaking his head. He's shaking his head. They're all shaking their heads and they're saying no. But that did loop up to leg slip and was a little bit of a worry for a moment.
You know, Lawrence should be doing the opposite. He should be saying out, I'm definitely out there, and get them to burn a review.
He should start walking.
He should be looking at bits of his bat, saying it chipped a bit off.
He's in again, bowls. He gets right over the top of that, plays it well to the man at short mid-wicket, or short mid-on really. He's come in quite straight there, and he's put a man in his eye line right in front of him at silly mid-off as well, which is tricky at this stage. So he's got attacking fielders on either side. That really did explode, that delivery. He's gone for the sweep and it's hit someone. Has he been caught by him? I don't know. I may have tucked up into Shubman Gill's grill. I've no idea where the ball has gone. Gill's Grill, which sounds like a good name for a restaurant.
And just to complete my point about runs meaning different things in different contexts, Jack Leach has got a top score in tests of 92 against Ireland, and he's also got a score of 1 not out against Australia. Which was the more valuable in terms of everything? And the answer is obviously the 1 not out against Australia.
It is
over
indeed.
The 92.
Knackle says it's in the same place. Modi wanted to beat the MCG's capacity, so decided not just to renovate, but knock down and rebuild. The last test at the old one was the first test of England's 2012 tour. The one England lost. Pujara double ton, Sehwag ton, Pragyan Oja got 9 wickets in the match. Mog says, well, this is going pretty much as expected. Farron says, Leach at number 4, a failed Baldrick cunning plan. Nitin Bajaj says, Lawrence to Root, it's Chennai, it's Monday, it's the lottery.
Oh my goodness me, don't do this to me. Root is taking a long time over waiting for his next ball from Axar Patel because he wants this to be the last over of the day.
Yes.
He got a nasty knock on the elbow there, Gil.
He did.
Actually. That can break your arm.
Absolutely.
So
get ready for a
some good
broken
news
arm.
for England.
I'll say what Root should have done in the moment.
Oh, damn, that sounds as if you think he's going to be out. Oh, I think he is out! Oh, is he caught off the inside edge? Axar Patel thinks he is. Umpire.
Bad news for England, the umpire says no.
Oh, Lord.
He's either caught or LBW,
this.
surely.
Well, I don't know. It's very difficult. It all happened so quickly.
They're not even going to review it.
They are going to review it. Coley always reviews it with a second to spare. He does it all the time. It is one of the most irritating habits, I have to say. It drives me
crazy. Make sure the camera's on him for as long as possible.
Anyway, it's going to be a review. We don't know what for, whether it's a catch, LBW.
They're going up for the catch off the inside edge, no question about it.
Let's have a look. It's going to hit the pad. Ooh, it's LBW. He's in trouble there. Oh, he's in trouble. He's in a great deal of trouble.
Yeah. That's going into
oh my word, he should have sent out another night watchman. What the hell were you thinking? Why do England do this? If you've got a night watchman and you've got 10 minutes to go, send out another night watchman. It's utterly ridiculous and stupid and beyond the bounds of sense. And Joe wrote his LBW.
I think he might be saved on umpire's call,
How? What? How is he going to be saved? How?
He's in front of the stump. You can see the off stump past his pad.
Well, let's see.
That's not pitched out. That's not impacted outside. No way has that impacted outside.
That is out.
No, it's umpire's call. My giddy aunt.
Well done, Gary. I'll take that back. Well done, Gary.
It was a terrible shot from Root. I mean, he is tired. It's been a long day. He's under pressure. Didn't expect to have to bat at the end of the day, but you've got to get your feet moving. Now, it's no good Coley here arguing with the umpire because it's the technology.
Well,
you say he should have given it out. You say he should have given it out, but no.
I mean, Coley should have lost all his match fee by now. Standing there after you've been bowled and making them look whether the ball's hit the stumps should be an automatic 50% deduction of your match fee. And then after a DRS saying it's not out, going to argue with the umpire is not on.
Well, he's saying to the umpire he should have given it out, and maybe the umpire should have given it out.
Well, that's what umpire's call is.
Yeah, umpire's call is that.
I mean, it's the same thing. I think that probably you spotted why you said he didn't think it was out, or you thought it was umpire's call, is because the top of his pad, as he goes back, is outside the line of the off stump. It's only when he gets right back you can see that it does hit in line. Root is forward. He's hit on the pad again, and my word, this is. It shouldn't be tense because England have lost this game by millions. But
somebody check Cricketing View to see whether he thinks the umpiring is terrible in this game. All of a sudden,
it's. When India need 400 and plenty.
He's hit on the pad again. He's appealing that. It's going down the leg side this time though. And Root just giggles at it all. Thinks it's highly amusing.
Yeah,
I'm not
I
sure
think
he
they
does.
dug out the Tendulkar DRS.
The meandered. Don't get yourself disciplinary points and end up missing a test match in the future for a game that's won.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, is it? Oh, that's a lovely ball. It's a slower one. Root does have time to get forward to this one, and it turns past his outside edge. Axar Patel, he's a tricky customer. There was an inside edge on the last LBW appeal. That was
well, if you are a spinner, this is where you want to make your test debut, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yes, it's a dream. It's a dream for a spinner. Shabazz Nadim's probably feeling a bit pissed off. He goes back to this one. He's going to run. He's going to get a run to backward square leg where Pujara feels. No, in fact, they're not. He was turned back. He set off, and Lawrence said, "Sod that for a game of soldiers. I'm not going anywhere." And so I think we come to the the last ball of the day. And what a day it's been, an extraordinary day. Virat Kohli is still ravaging on.
That's a replay.
Root onto the back foot. He is going to get a run here as he pushes into the offside. Hurries through for the single, and that is the end of the day. England live to fight into the fourth day, and that's only because India batted on for ages and ages to allow Ashwin to get a quite remarkable 100. 53 for 3. One of those is Jack Leach, but both the openers have gone. Joe Root, it's not so much a grin as a grimace there as he walks off with Dan Lawrence, but we will have some action for you tomorrow. This session was 118 runs and 5 wickets. Not sure what Ashwin is congratulating Dan Lawrence for there. He shook his hand. Maybe it was the other way around.
It was Lawrence congratulating Ashwin. Yeah.
There you go. So that's been thoroughly entertaining in its way.
To be fair, like 9 wickets from Ashwin is a bit like 10 not out from Lawrence. They're pretty similar as far as career achievements go.
I suppose that's true.
Mark says, based on Hendo's shrieks alone, you'd think that England have actually lost 14 wickets already. Martin Lawrence is recommending us, saying, do listen to the England version of At Guerrilla Cricket. It's hilarious when England is playing like this.
You should hear the Hindi version. That's a cracker. Which we're working on, actually. We're working on a Guerrilla Cricket Hindi version, but it may take a while to come to fruition.
Are we sending some people to India?
Only you, Fred. To get you out of our hair, really. Shastri's not happy. He's moaning on to the umpire. I mean, hang on. This is ridiculous from Kohli.
Hang on.
Hang on. I mean,
you cannot complain that India have been hard done by in this test match by umpiring decisions.
I think that's extraordinary, and I honestly think that Ravi Shastri and Kohli should be reported to the match referee for that.
Yeah, there's a thing in baseball. You are allowed to query decisions in baseball, but when it's gone for review and the decision has come, you can, if you then start arguing, you get sent out straight out of the game.
Well,
because you can't argue with the technology. The technology is there.
Yeah, the technology, and you all agree on the technology. I mean, it may have its faults, who knows? But you've agreed on the technology, and you have to play by the technology. The other thing I want to say, the 2 things about Kohli today that I think are important to say. He ran over the wicket when he was batting, and he was reprimanded by the same umpire, and he walked away from the umpire shaking his head as if he disagreed with every word that was said to him. He's done that exactly the same. When the umpire explained his decision, he then walked back shaking his head. Now, if that is not showing dissent, I don't know what is.
When you compare that with Root, who, when the ridiculous decision that a shot wasn't being played, was it Pujara yesterday?
No, it was Rowett.
It was Rowett, and Root walked away smiling from the umpire. He just clarified with him that he said he was playing a shot, and he must have been absolutely bitterly disappointed because it was completely plumb. And he walked away smiling. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how well he was taking it. He didn't even shake his head. He just sort of wandered away and said, "Okay, you get back to your marks." I was amazed that he didn't sort of take it further. But you're right. You can't argue with umpires. End of story.
My view on this, because I find discussions about refereeing and umpiring all a little dull, to be honest. But I do have this, and it's rare that this gets any agreement, so you'll probably both shoot it down. But Sir Alex Ferguson was probably fined more than any other football manager for comments about referees. Now, Sir Alex Ferguson, I think we can all agree, is a cunning and intelligent man. So why was he doing this? Well, he was doing it for the same reason he did everything in his life, which was to further the interests of Manchester United. Kohli is also an intelligent man whose life at the moment is dedicated to furthering the interests of the Indian cricket team. So why is he contesting these decisions? The answer is to further the interest of the Indian cricket team. So why is he doing it? How is that being done? Well, it's to make sure that when the umpire has another tight decision and an umpire's call, that he raises the finger this time, and when it goes upstairs for umpire's call, that it goes the other way.
And that's why it shouldn't be allowed.
I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. But it's not just dissent. It's about intimidation. It's about creating a narrative that you're making mistakes and you need to rectify those mistakes. And it's done cynically, and it's done not in the heat of the moment. It's
calculated.
It's calculated. It was calculated by Ferguson for years and years, and he paid the price with the fines and the opprobrium. And you know, Coley will do the same thing. Now you may say,
especially when umpires are under pressure in this game because they know they've made some ridiculous decisions.
Now you may say that's all part of the game, and you know I can take that as a point of view. But this is not sort of hot-headedness. This is calculated and cynical, and it's about moving that window of opportunity that you have. And now when there are close calls, the umpires, they'll get together, and whether consciously or subconsciously, they'll be more inclined to give it out and send it upstairs than to give it not out. Now, that did look out, and I think it is, I can understand the disappointment, but the plain fact was it was marginal, and that's why it was an umpire's call, and that's why Root is still there. But the dissent is cynical, and it's for a purpose.
Well, you could be right. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I totally take your point with regards to Ferguson and various people like that. That it is intimidation. It may be intimidation, or it may just be that he's a hothead. And it may be. It may be. Well, it might be. I mean, you don't know. We can't say. Yeah, but he's a hothead. He's very much a hothead.
Well, yeah, you say that, Gary. As a youngster, he was also, he got in trouble with Australia for. Interacting with the crowd. So, that was before he was the great Virat Kohli. Yeah. So there may be a temperamental flaw. Either way, it goes into making the watchable cricketer that he is. So he's so watchable that the camera doesn't leave him for a minute.
Well, Warren was like this. He'd chip away at the umpire. Why wasn't that out? Are you sure?
And if you've ever umpired under those circumstances, it is actually quite... it is quite intimidating, absolutely, because you begin... That said, if you're a professional and you've done it for years, you should have experience of it and you should be able to deal with it.
Well,
to a certain extent.
Shouldn't do.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, this
absolutely. You see it happen all the time on referees.
We're talking about two giants of the game here. It's in Coley and Warren, both of whom work the umpires. And, I'm not saying they're unique in this, but I think it needs a fair bit of cojones simply to brush it off. Particularly when you know that social media and then all the shows they have and the pundits are all going to be looking at it, and your career might depend on it because you might not get selected for future test matches. This is a rare test match where in pandemic days with the home umpires standing, there's a lot riding on this, and simply to say that he'll get fined if it's deemed out of order by the match referee, that's not really good enough.
Yeah, but you can get demerit points with the chance of being banned later in the day. I think we've gone on a bit too much about it, and we should really point out that India have been far the better played this game much better than England, and are continuing to play this game, and have got themselves in an invulnerable position in this game, and have played spectacularly well, and they've ground England into the dust today. And they've made it difficult. We all know what happens when you come out on a dust bowl and you need 480 to win. Things are going to happen, and fielders are going to get excited, and there's going to be appeals. But let's not take away from the tremendous way that India have played this game so far. And what a great, it's still a great series. Let's be honest. There's 2 tests to go after this, even as we expect India to wrap this up pretty quickly tomorrow. This is a 1-1 with 2 games to go, with a wild card of a test in Ahmedabad with a pink ball to come. I think England fans, if you'd have given them the choice of going into the third game 1-1 at Ahmedabad, would have absolutely snapped your hand off 2 weeks ago.
Before we get into that, because I think we should, can I just get through some tweets, because obviously they're a little behind. Tony Bishop, our very own, says that was smacking into off stump. And as the Hofbear may have mentioned, I know dodgy umpiring. It certainly was smacking into off stump, but that wasn't why it was not out. El Chopernos says, Oye Menon gave that not out so that crybabies can stop crying about biased umpiring, or maybe they'll cry more. Fun either way. The Light Roller says, thanks again for the excellent commentary and good banter. See you all tomorrow. Knuckle Pandey said, it wouldn't be a series between any 2 of the big 3 without a diplomatic incident built on a largely inconsequential point of officiating. That's an excellent point, Knuckle. Farron says, Kohli does this because he knows he won't get punished. If this incident occurred outside of India, he'd get a penalty, but we are playing in India. Ronald D. Sampson says, I am quite sure that Menon Sahab did not give that out because he wants Ashwin Anna to get more wickets tomorrow. And Mog says intimidation was the main modus operandi of the Australians in the 90s. So there's your
every
tweets.
team does it. All strong teams do it. It's part of their armoury. And I have to say, this India team, Kohli apart, I think they're and the games are being played in very good spirit between the teams. Let's not take that away. There's no hint of any animosity between the teams, which is very good to see, and is possible at the highest level of sport. But Kohli sometimes overdoes it. Let's just stick at that.
I agree with you, Fred. I agree with you 100%.
Okay.
Hendo, do you want to sum up the day's play, if you can? What a day it's been.
Well, extraordinary day, really, wasn't it? England came out this morning, got a wicket very early on with a bizarre run out of Pujara, and actually bowled really well for about an hour, and 5 wickets went down, I think it was, and a really good, or what seemed to be a really good first session, but towards the end of that first session, Ravi Ashwin arrived and batted with Kohli, who'd been very solid indeed, and played, I guess, probably his best Test innings by some margin. Not only getting to the 100 in the end, but shepherding the tail to a certain extent once he'd lost Kohli, and batting supremely well. He had a little bit of luck. He was dropped by Stokes at slip when he had 28 off the bowling of Stuart Broad. Stuart Broad might have been underused. Seemed like a good ploy for England to adopt when they brought Ben Foakes up to the wicket. That said, Little Edges went to ground, and he could have been out 2 or 3 times. But that should not take away from the fact that the shots he played were magnificent. And the shot that took him to 99, I think it was, or was it 97? That big 6 over mid-wicket, which I think we're just seeing again now. That was superb. The one that got into his 100 wasn't quite so good. He just basically revolved, tried to slam it over mid-wicket, got an outside edge, and it ran down to third man for 4 in a loopy direction. So the lead in the end was 286. There were 4 wickets for Leach. There were 4 wickets for Moeen, but neither bowled well enough after that initial hour, really, I think you have to say. And England were looking around for someone to do the business for them. They had a little 3-over spell from, I think, Ollie Stone, where he was just trying to bowl short in at Ashwin. That didn't really work for very long, and they decided against it after a while, quite rightly so. It took them much deeper into the day than they would have wanted to go. If they could have got India out early after lunch, they would have had some impetus going into their innings. As it was, they were very, very tired by the time they got out there, and Sibley didn't last long. He was pinned on the back foot by Patel, who does get that ball through quickly. If it does go on with the arm, you haven't really got much hope if you're right back on your stumps. Then we lost Burns, who'd batted quite nicely up to that point. He went for 25. It was Ashwin again, floating one in on his leg stump. He was reaching for it a little bit, trying to turn it against the spin, and it was an easy catch for Virat Kohli. Then after that, we had the drama of Joe Root. Well, once Jack Leach had gone first ball as the first night watchman, Joe Root came in as the second night watchman, which seemed a crazy decision from England, and nearly paid for it with his batting life. He was pinned on the back foot by Patel.
It's the plumber's umpire's call of all time.
Well, it was a millimetre. It was a millimetre maybe outside on umpire's call. Kohli was very upset by it, but Root lives to fight tomorrow. For how long, we don't really know. That's it then from us, as England go into tomorrow needing still over 400 to win. They have 7 wickets in hand. Ashwin is looking for 9 wickets. Is he going to get 9 wickets? He can't get 9 wickets now, can he? He can't get 400 wickets. He can't get to 400 wickets in this Test match, but he may well go to the pink ball test and do it there.
I just want to echo very briefly Fred's words. India have got off the canvas. They didn't expect to be beaten in that first test, and certainly not to be beaten by 200 and plenty. But they've got off the canvas, and they've absolutely dominated 3 consecutive days cricket here. They've played absolutely brilliantly. I'm sure they'll finish it off tomorrow. But the story of this test so far is not umpiring controversy or dissent from Kohli. It's about a team who have stood up and have played brilliantly for their country and have set up the series magnificently.
Well, I always thought they did. I mean, I did say on the final day when England won, I did say India will come back strong, as we knew they would, as they did in Australia. They are made of stern stuff. Anyway, that's it from us for today. Look out for 1 or 2 stories going up on our website later on, as we continue to bombard you with content. And if you fancy it before you go to sleep or whatever it is you're going to do for the rest of the day, do think about offering us some shekels, some gold, some silver coins at patreon.com/Gorilla Cricket, or go to our website gorillacricket.com. Look for one of the many wonderful t-shirts that we have now there. There are lots on the gorilla philosophy I think you'll enjoy, so please buy one of them, buy a cup, buy a bath mat, anything you fancy. That would help us enormously. Until tomorrow, when Tony B will be in the hot seat. I will probably snore my way through it because it's just going to be too upsetting to get up and watch it. I think you'll enjoy it though. 7 wickets go, 400 plus runs needed. It's goodbye from all of us here on Gorilla Cricket. Good night.
Bye bye.
Gorilla Cricket.